kind sir, pause your steps and heed my story. I was a fox squire who practiced to become one of the humans. One day, a young scholar saved me and kept me in his home to let me heal. I couldn't move, yet my heart swelled with gratitude.
Of what I was doing when I was recording. Sorry about that, guys. Now you should be able to hear me. Now you can hear me. Okay, there we go. And you should be able to hear Lemon as well. No, anyway, so what we were saying is, yeah, PlayStation 5 prices are, and their accessories and everything are loading in, are getting more expensive. And yeah, it effing sucks.
So here's something funny. Not to go on a total tangent, but you were muted on the stream. I didn't realize that. I thought I had muted the YouTube video already. And obviously you started talking like, what the hell? Oh, wait, I was not on mute on there. What? I mean, that's crazy though. Like,
yep.
I mean, that's how it goes though. I mean, prices go up as far as the...
I mean, I think we can all agree this console generation is probably one of the weirdest. Just because everything has been going up in price.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's weird in the sense of it's, not following the last 3 or 4 generations, but
hasn't that been all console generations?
I don't know about all. I mean, what they say about blanket statements.
No.
I don't know what they say about blanket statements. I don't really. I mean, if you think about it from an economic standpoint, if the consoles are still selling well, why would you lower prices, right? The whole point is you want to charge as much as possible.
Oh yeah, no, from a business standpoint, I know exactly why they're doing it. Not to mention the fact, again, everyone saw record profits in 2020. Thing is that they're also, so it just goes to prove that Sony doesn't give two shits about Japan anymore, because the PlayStation 5 is about to be almost $1,000 essentially if the yen and the dollar were in the same, like the currencies were equal essentially.
I mean, yeah,
which really sucks.
But hasn't Japan always kind of held pricing on stuff more than the US? Like, things always been kind of more expensive over there? Not to the extent of $1,000, but it's
always dependent on the how well the yen is doing. If the yen is in a strong place, then generally it will be pretty good overall. But if it's really weak, like it has been for the last 3 years, any kind of imports that they're bringing in from other countries are not the greatest. So regardless,
to call the yen weak is being very generous of you, by the way. It is.
What am I supposed to call it?
Very weak. Feeble, even. The yen is feeble.
Astronomically weak. Astronomically weak. How about that?
Not good. To the point where I'm not one to recommend exchanging currencies, but you might want to think about it. Or at least keeping money in USD for a hot minute.
Well, I don't have much in USD, so that's the thing.
Well, keep it in USD. Don't convert
Oh,
it
yeah,
just yet.
anything I have in USD, I obviously keep in USD. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, trying to find a PS5 controller is gonna be a little tricky. Because everything has gone up 20% essentially. So.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Yep. Sometimes.
But if the market supports it.
Oh, I can pick that up. Defeat the dead zombie dude.
You know, so far watching this, these enemies are very not aggressive.
No, they're not.
They're just kind of like, you know, I'll walk over there when I feel like walking over there. I'll slap you around when I feel like slapping you around. Are they union workers by chance?
They might be.
There's a spicy joke for the night.
Oh. Now you. There we go. Perfect. Exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, sorry for those of you on YouTube, guys, sorry by the way about not having the voice at the very beginning. So that was 100% my fault. Apologize.
Absolute amateur hour over here.
Yep, amateur hour over here, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. I probably need to go defeat that giant frog here in a second that I saw as a little mini boss. That's where I came down.
The frog knew what it did.
Huh?
The frog knew what it did.
That's like the third frog mini boss I'm about to fight right now.
It sounded to me like the frogs need to get put down. Like they're causing a ruckus.
Well, I mean, there's one per area. So I defeated the one in the mountains. I defeated the one in the desert, which I don't know how a frog is surviving in the desert. And now I got to defeat one in the snow/ice. So.
Sounds like the frogs need to get put down. They get put in their place and they get put down. They're causing
so too,
ruckus.
but all that ice right there, not very fun. Ow. Oh, this is that ice right there. Turn into my giant rock friend. Oh, damn, you strong, frog? Okay. Have a rock into the head. How about that? I love this transformation. Whenever you play this game, make sure you get this transformation like as early as possible.
Lang. Hope they have like pronunciations for some of these things. So I feel like that's probably not the right pronunciation.
Ow. Yeah, that is definitely a jump. Oh, crap. Jesus. Ah, ice. I hate it.
You know, for a hard game, you're kind of shrugging off hits.
I don't know if using an ice attack
never
against...
Never mind. That was
yeah.
kind of a lot of damage.
You saw it there for a second. Yep.
It caught up. It caught up.
Finally caught up. Yep.
That was a chunk of health.
Okay, frog, get over here. Jump. Oh, crap. You went in the air.
You know, this game needs a mimic tier. That's what the game needs.
Ow.
This.
Yeah, I was not the greatest. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to enhance my attack. Oh, I thought I dodged that. Whoa. All right, heal back up. Do double heal. Oh, crap. Ice on the ground. Ice on the ground. No, pluck a many. Go for it. Oh crap! That was a terrible time to use pluck a many. The tongue, not the tongue.
Oh, look at that, mimic tears. You got a bunch of clones.
Yep. Not the feet. Not the feet.
They're definitely not as strong as mimic tear. They need.
Well, they're super weak. I have not leveled them up at all. So, yeah, now they're all dead. So, come on, I can.
There's a reason why the mimic tear carries, man.
Yeah,
they're
but
good.
it takes a lot of MP. So.
What else do you MP for? Summon a guy to do all the work for you.
Ow! Oh, hey, I got eaten by the frog.
Well, that's probably gonna kill you, isn't it?
Probably close to it.
Survey says, wow, that was nowhere near as much damage as I was expecting.
Yeah, but now I'm like super low on health, so.
Well, stop soaking up hits.
There we go. Whew. Finally.
I consider dodging better.
Yeah, it'd be nice if performance mode actually was a good performance.
Oh, blaming the game for your poor gameplay. Okay, all right. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Oh, that was funny.
Don't be yawning. I heard that. I could have sworn I heard that yawn.
Oh my god, I didn't yawn.
Oh, it sounded like it was
I
gonna
was
be a yawn.
laughing.
And
I'm
like,
laughing too much.
oh, what happened?
I guess you'll see in a second. Unless you. Bottom line, I defeated the mini boss because that is a mini boss. That's not an actual boss.
Oh man, I hate to see how actual boss rocked your world.
It usually takes me a good 4 to 5 tries, per boss.
Amateur.
Well, you know, you say that, but we'll see how you handle it.
I thought I
Then what happened? I looked over now and you smacking the sky.
So I defeated the mini
talk to.
boss. Everything was good, and then I got killed by one of the ice pillars that were just hanging around before it just exploded.
Yep. Boss fights don't end until you get to the save station.
Well, actually, that's not the save station. That's just a rest spot / shrine. You can you save almost every second in this game.
Oh, okay, that's generous.
Yeah. It just when you die, it sends you back to the last shrine that you're at, essentially. So, I don't have to go pick up things that I lost or anything like that.
See previous point then.
Ow! Where'd you come from? Goody, a giant open field. I don't like it go anywhere at this point.
That's not what I thought. When I heard giant open field, I thought, this is gonna be a boss fight. Someone's gonna be on a mount. Maybe
No.
a horse, maybe a boar.
Surprisingly, I haven't
soon
fought
find
any
out.
enemies on animals yet.
Really? No.
Yet, I should say. Yet, keyword.
Interesting.
My favorite thing is doing this, though. Standing behind enemies that don't see me.
And slapping him with your bow staff?
Yep, pretty much. Works all the time.
That's not very honorable.
Never said I was.
I can tell.
There we go. Weird seeing my level be 65 already. I'm only on chapter 3.
You know, you gotta get 4 more levels then.
Yeah, I know. And then I'm not allowed to level up anymore,
Nice. Nice. I'm actually kind of surprised you haven't burnt through this game yet, seeing how the Castlevania DS collection's out.
Well, if that's just, well, for one thing, every time I beat a boss or two, I've got to then go record voiceovers. I got to write scripts for everything.
Excuses. Says the guy who still hasn't played it either.
Yeah, but let's say, yeah. So what are you playing currently right now? What are you on? You like your fifth RPG this year already?
SMT5. I think I'm in like the final dungeon though, so I'm super duper close.
Okay, so you're close.
Might be able to start tomorrow. Dawn of Sorrow? DS1 Dawn of Sorrow?
Dawn of Sorrow, that was...
Aria of Sorrow is like the GOAT. I don't care what anyone says. Well,
thoughts on the Capcom fighting game collection? More companies should realize there's a market for these older games. I agree.
Specifically older games or older fighting games?
I'm guessing
I feel like
both.
Publishers and developers are very keen on older games, but I feel like there is a bit of a drought. Drought implies there was ever once a flood or a decent amount of rain. There hasn't been any amounts of really old school fighting games that isn't called Street Fighter 2 or its numerous remakes and masters.
Well, there is that Marvel Capcom game that's coming out. A lot of people are excited for that.
Well, because it's so shocking. Like that was out of the blue because it's kind of rare, especially that one since it was kind of in limbo.
Right. I mean, I think it's good that they're obviously allowing for, you know, people who never got to play those games a chance to play those games now and everything, which is awesome. My concern is more on the Switch's side. I guess probably Sony to some extent as well. Xbox, I probably would not have this. I don't think I'd have to worry about too much. Granted, you'd have to actually sell the games on there. Are they going to work on the next consoles, right? Is the Switch 2 and the, whenever the PS6 comes out, are they going to run those games, right? Like, obviously, I think it's fair to say that when the PS6 comes out, for example, it'll play PS5 games, but will it still play PS4 games? Now, theoretically, it should, right? Especially if the way that you make PS4 games and PS5 games have been generally the same and the same architecture and everything, and then obviously the PS6 would continue that, then yeah, it should do it. But will it is always the question.
But how are you gonna resell the same exact game over and over again?
I know, right? It's a weird
we
concept.
We need another Last of Us, Talon.
I know. We need Last of Us Part 1 HD remake '2 definitive or something. Is
Last of Us 1 or 2 on PS5 yet, or are they both PS4 games? I've forgotten.
Yeah.
You can tell how much I give a shit. So are either of them like the PS5 like remaster? Or are they both PS4?
So Part 1 got a full remake
on PS5.
On PS5.
Okay.
Part 2 is on.
Well, Part 2 literally launched on the PS4.
Yeah.
It came out as a PS4 game initially.
Yeah. I mean, Atlas sold Shin Megami Tensei 5 twice essentially.
So that's not fair. No. We're not going to lump those together. Last of Us remasters, remakes, or what do you want to call them? Very just kind of it's the game with new graphics. SMT5 and SMT5 Vengeance should have been DLC. I'll give that. That was kind of greedy on them to release Vengeance as its own game. However, it is effectively like a whole massive chunk of game. Like it's a massive DLC, if you want to call it that. Like it's a whole other single player campaign, effectively. So it's not fair to entirely go after Alice for that. It is fair to go after Alice for making us pay for episode I guess for Persona 3. Because that was effectively kind of similar to Vengeance on the PS2. So there was zero reason for the remake to not have that when I dropped buku buck for the special edition of it. I'm still gonna buy it, but I'm still salty about it.
Fire. I need fire.
Oh. I know what to do. Actually know what to do for once, that guy, because I can go ahead and use it. Set spells. I need my new healing ring. Ring of fire.
Watching you take those hits, you need a healing ring for sure, Z's.
The healing ring is actually extremely good.
Yeah, because you keep taking hits. Your dodging abilities are lacking.
There you go. Heal up in the small circle of flames. What up, Bobby? What's going on, man? Zero call out for going live. You said you might join, so I had to start. Plus, I was running a little late. I had to help the wife get a.
You running late? What?
I know,
what?
right? Me running late. It's crazy. I know.
I heard that Buddha planted watermelons here hundreds of years ago. One bite, yet when the cold bites all around, without your powerful spells, there's no way I can find it. Someone once saw a chubby boy jump from the cliff with a watermelon in his
All right, well, I've eventually found a watermelon. Come back and give it to this guy. So have fun sitting in the ring of fire for a while.
Watermelon.
They're in the summer. Watermelon's very delicious.
Is it still delicious in the winter too? Just good luck finding it.
That's the thing right there, right? That's obviously there. So. But yeah, trying to play with this stick drift. In fact, you know what I need to do actually on my monitor? I need to turn the VSync off.
Guy, you should love having that stick drift. Now you can blame all your bad gameplay on stick drift. This is a godsend for you, guy.
It technically is, yeah.
Oh yeah, guys, I didn't mean to do that. It was a stick drift.
It was all my stick drift, man. All right, whatever. Hop in there in a few minutes. All right, then we can talk about some topics while I continue to play this. Oh yeah, I forgot I reset that. So I'm just gonna run this way. Ow. Ow. Trying to run in the snow. It ain't working. Oh,
yeah, it's
this is where this goes.
Snow.
All right. Well, you know, I'm just gonna explore. I'm probably gonna die here anyway, but I don't mind. So I'm just gonna kind of explore where I am. And then I can kind of formalize a plan on what I do. Oh, hey, big guy. How's it going? Luckily, you're usually easy to beat, so I'm just going to ignore you. Oh, lovely. More frogs? Seriously?
Oh, cool. Visions of Mana reviews are coming out.
We will be covering that because we got accepted to get a code. So.
Oh, Hot Tiggy Daffodil.
Yeah.
Awesome. Whoa. GameSpot gave it a 50.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
There is a game here for someone willing to lower their standards enough. Wow.
What?
But trust me when I say there are hundreds of better RPGs for you to spend your time on. Hundreds, okay? You do not need to waste it searching for a few nuggets buried here. Wow, that is savage. They really didn't like that game.
Well, I guess it all comes down to who actually reviewed it. So.
Yeah, who is this person? Why are they so angry? Imran Khan. Why are you so angry, Imran? Who hurt you?
Someone definitely hurt him.
Okay.
Because I mean, you tried the demo out, right? You tried that demo out.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's amazing game, like a record-shattering kind of game.
It shows both the downsides and the upsides of what the old PS2 type of games were, essentially. Right?
I got a feeling that this reviewer might have started playing RPGs with like Final Fantasy 16 or so, or
probably
15.
Yeah, very later RPG type of games.
Well, just games that are like peak JRPG, literally genre defining.
Right.
and then comes back and plays this. This is not a genre-defining game, just based on the demo. This is a PS2 AA kind of game.
Yeah, no, it is.
The exact kind of game Square Enix said they weren't going to do anymore. But
they are. So.
And here they are.
Yeah. Oh, playing Shin Megami Tensei 5 with stick drift is an adventure. I bet.
Yeah, especially if you're playing at higher difficulty and you're trying to dodge enemies. Yeah,
I can see that.
Especially towards the end of the game where they're just people just pop out of nowhere.
Oh. Cool.
Yeah, no, Visions of Mana is definitely a game I'm going to be waiting for a buy two get one free sale. Show.
It's a fun game. It is a very fun game. But it clearly has. It's
you have to be an
not
old man to enjoy it.
Right. If you were somebody who enjoyed that type of game back in the old days, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s, you'll like this. You really will. It's a trip down memory lane. It's a lot. It does have some depth to the mechanics of it and everything in terms of some of the RPG stuff that you can get, but it is not it's not your Final Fantasy Rebirth style. It's not Final Fantasy 16. It's not, I'd say probably Expedition 33 that's coming out next year, right? It's not going to be like that. This was a game that was most likely made by a side team while they're making some of their bigger stuff. Is how I would probably say it goes.
I got it more succinctly for you. If you know what a memory card is, you're probably going to enjoy this game.
There you go. Because
that was kind of the last generation where memory cards were a thing.
Yep.
I mean, funny enough, the Xbox, the original Xbox.
Yes, exactly. It is very early 2000 style.
Yeah.
Kill this guy.
Funny enough, the Xbox was the one that kind of heralded in our hard drives for consoles, and then the very next console, 360.
Big boy, how's it going?
Wasn't standard. Wasn't standard.
Oh. No, turn into my rock. I was turn into my rock.
Your rock.
Yep. Giant rock. That's what I call it.
It's like a pet rock kind of thing.
No, I literally turn into a rock with a bunch of skulls on top of my head.
Oh, so you're at Kirby.
Pretty much. A very, very dark version of Kirby.
I mean, have you played a Kirby game before? They're not exactly kid-friendly. Yeah, pure kid-friendly. Everyone thinks Kirby's kid-friendly, but generally speaking, each game you do fight an eldritch beast at the end of the game. A lot of cosmic horror going on in the Kirby world.
Oh, minions. Okay, stay away from me. All right, little clone dudes. Go after them. Oh, crap. I'm stuck in vines. Okay, noted. Ow, ow.
Okay. You should dodge out of the vines.
Yeah, I should. I didn't realize that they could do that, though.
Well, generally speaking, vines are something you should stay away from.
Unless you're using them yourself.
Well, if you're using them yourself, you only have yourself to blame when you get caught in them.
Very true, very true. I know. Oh, nice. Shocked him. Very nice. Love to see it. Ooh, all right, big boy. All right. Stop it. He's definitely a drunk dude. Use my oh, okay. He's creating things. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna charge this up to full power. Give him a good old whacking. There we go.
See how well that works out for you.
Actually worked out pretty well.
This game's really hard though, so it probably didn't work out very well. You're just lying, aren't you?
so close to. Oh God, no! I'm stuck in the vines. Stuck in the vines.
You know, at this point, it's kind of on you. Like, you know the vines are there.
No. Like, I didn't realize. But shut up.
Sounds to me that you were not keeping aware of your surroundings, which is a skill you should have in real life too. If you ever find yourself going into a big city,
that will help me a lot. There we go. And he probably has a spirit that I'm gonna grab. No, really? I don't get to absorb this guy? Oh.
no.
Oh, yes, I do.
No.
Yes, awesome. Take his spirit. There we go. Put it in my gorg or gorge. There we go.
Take his spirit.
Yep.
Sounds kind of not very friendly of you. Kind of violent.
I mean, this isn't Kirby or anything. So.
No, Kirby just eats you and sends you into a black hole, which is his stomach.
That's not very Goku of you, Talon.
There we go. See, you gotta play in the fan base too, because everyone loves DBZ for some reason.
Some odd, strange reason. Yep. I mean,
Well,
Yeah, I guess it's all right. I guess.
It's kind of mid, honestly.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, this game or Dragon Ball is based off of this story, so.
No, it's not, Talon. What are you talking about? It's
Yeah,
original.
Yeah, super original. What the hell are you on about? How dare you accuse them of being derivative and not original? Don't the CCP hear that?
I finished part 2 of the Alan Wake DLC, Lemon.
Ooh, was it good?
Oh, it's good.
I'm assuming it's good.
3 parts, so I got to finish part 3 still. I finished part 1, and that is one of my favorite things I've ever played through ever. And then
So that's the first DLC. There's multiple parts in the first DLC, right? Is that how it goes? Okay.
It's supposed to be like, you know, how Alan Wake Universe has Night Springs.
Yeah.
It's like 3 Night Springs episodes. So
Okay.
I played through the first 2, and the first one was amazing, and the second one was fucking great too. But the first one is just one of the best, most entertaining things I've ever seen.
I definitely want to play it. The second DLC comes out.
I know,
really
you're
bad
gonna
thing
play it
to
on
do?
Xbox, aren't you? Yes.
No, I'm playing on PlayStation.
Okay, good. Because then, you know, if it gets pro enhanced, we'll talk about that later. Then you can can actually have a decent version on a console. Because I've seen that PS5 version, man, and it ain't hot. Like,
It wasn't terrible, but it's one of those things where it's like if you played it on PC, then you went back to console, it'd be kind of probably rough. But if you just start on console, it's just kind of whatever.
yeah, because I played all on PC.
Yeah.
And I went to my buddy's house, and he was playing. You know, he got it on console, and he got the DLC. He's like, "Oh, check this out!" And he showed me like the beginning of the second episode. I was like, "That's cool."
Yeah,
but I was like, "It looks like ass." It just looked like, and it just looks so bad. Just because like that game looks fantastic. I think that's the best looking game out, and that's including Hellblade. Like Alan Wake 2 on a PC cranked up all the way is the most incredible looking thing I've ever seen personally.
How is the optimization?
Hellblade looks great.
Like,
I don't want to take that.
Huh?
I was gonna say Hellblade looks fantastic. I don't want to take that.
No, not Hellblade.
just-
I'm talking about Alan Wake. Like, how is? I was gonna say like not the optimization, but like how does it? Like in terms of like if you combine everything together, like obviously you've got things like ray tracing and 4K and whatever yada yada, but that combined with some good frame rates and the smoothness of it, right, with like no choppiness or anything, like how is that overall on both PC and PS5? Since Lemon, I know you played PS5, and Bobby, you've played it on PC more.
Actually, yeah, Lemon, let me know, because I would be interested, especially the parts with Saga.
So, I mean, all right. Here's how it goes. I have it's probably about $2,500 PC, right? It's not a bad PC. It's pretty solid.
Well, tell us the PC parts.
So, oh geez, what CPUs do I have? Let's see. It
Ryzen
is
1700.
No, I went Intel because it was a mother to find Ryzen at the time. It was an i9-10850, so it's like the unbinned version of Talon's CPU, and I got 64 gigs of RAM.
Both you and I have an i9 10900K or 10900.
And then,
Just vomited in my mouth a little bit.
And then I got a RX 7900.
Okay, you can't really
XTX,
blame me because I've already told you multiple times that PC parts. I get what I get. That's all I can.
I can't blame Talon. He's living in the only country where the PS5 goes up in price. Like, you can't blame that. Lemon, I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah,
sir.
no, you can be disappointed at me for sure.
You like wait a month to get a Ryzen. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
apparently
I don't really
they put out
entirely know why I didn't go Ryzen, because I wanted to go Ryzen. For some reason, I didn't.
I thought you couldn't find them. Wasn't that the case? You couldn't find any.
No, I think at the time it was just a better, because of how bad Intel is doing right now, just the way things are going. It was a better price to performance to buy the i9 than it was to buy the Ryzen.
I mean, to be fair, the 10 series isn't a bad CPU at that time. It's
I think it was
the
the 12
13
and up was the bad
12 and up
okay.
have been the bad ones. So
yeah, so 10 and 11 were fine.
Right. Like for me personally,
then,
I want to get like that 7800 X3D or whatever the best CPU is right now.
Chin just got one of those, and it's disgusting.
Oh god, that is hell.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
7900. Oh, what was it? 700.
7800 X3D.
Eight.
That's the best gaming CPU right now.
Oh god,
Hands down. Like not even close.
That's no Threadripper though.
Yeah, so I mean, you're not using a Threadripper for gaming. Come on now.
Yeah, Threadripper is like it's straight up just like the equivalent of like those workstation GPUs people kept buying for gaming, and they suck ass at it.
I like how my cousin getting this dude's foot.
See, I hate how AMD does this, because they're like, oh yeah, we only have 8 CPU cores. Like, no, you have doubled up cores. You should be marketing as 16 cores.
Right.
Because it says here it's only an 8-core CPU with 16 threads, so it's hyper-threaded to 16. But I feel like that's not correct. I feel like the way they, built them out, it's 2 cores per what they call a core.
Yeah.
It feels like the giant fight in Elden Ring.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Your ass getting to grass is kind of on brand for that too. But no, I was gonna buy a Ryzen, but I just for whatever reason didn't.
You have a Ryzen GPU.
Yeah.
That's the thing, Lemon. I feel like you're just being a contrarian. You're like, I need an Intel CPU and I need an AMD GPU chip.
All right.
To say
Talon had it backwards. I got the AMD chip. I mean the AMD GPU because I couldn't find it in NVIDIA. However,
that's fair.
However, this card is better than a 4080, but worse than a 4090. So it fits kind of in that weird spot between them.
Hit me.
That's a bold claim, sir.
No. Well, it depends on the game. It depends on the. Oh shit.
It's like FSR is great, like for what it is now, but DLSS, like I hate to say it, like Nvidia's got that sauce with DLSS.
Real gamers don't use AI bullshit.
Oh my god, I'm trying to rock
DLSS. I love DLSS.
Yeah, I'm trying to rock
on my like AI consoles and stuff.
Like Red Dead 2. I was playing it on my TV last year, and just turn on DLSS and having like 100 frames at like 4K maxed out. I was like, this is good. I don't care if they're fake frames. I give 0 fucks in this game, because in this game I'm gonna stop everything with Deadeye to shoot it anyway. It's not like that's gonna affect anything. Although, you know what, I'll tell you, Tears of the Kingdom, I turned on the smoothing on my TV. Worst decision I ever made. Looked great. Played like shit.
Wait, so on your TV itself it had smoothing and then it ran like shit?
Yeah, because that's AI frame generation 2, but in
on
that game,
the television itself, though, it was there.
Yeah, the motion smoothing. They've had that forever.
Oh, wait. Okay, so when you said smooth, you're talking soap opera effect? That?
Yes.
Oh, God, yeah, no, that's terrible. I think it's smoothing as in, like, it's smoothed out jaggies, like some sort of, like, anti-aliasing or something. No, motion smoothing is terrible. I hate soap opera effect. My dad just got a new OLED, and I went over to their house the other day, and they left it on. And I'm going to rant for a second about LG and the way they do things.
LG turns it on by default.
On every TV it's by default. However, the way LG handles it is every variation of the way you watch television has its own settings. So if you watch 4K with HDR10, that's a setting. 4K with Dolby Vision, that's a setting. 1080p, that's a setting.
Oh.
And I forgot what the fourth one was, but we have to go through. And the shitty part of it is you cannot go to those settings unless you're watching that content. So we had to go find, well, you didn't have to find, it just kind of happened that way. Different streaming services use different, HDR types, so 10 or Dolby Vision. So we'd have to go turn one of them on, and then we're watching like Dune or something, and it's like, this looks like crap. Why is things look so funky in motion? Go to the settings, change it. You turn on, I think it was like a Netflix like mystery or a like true crime thing, and looks funky again. Looks soap opera effect. Look, oh yep, this time it's Dolby Vision. Turn that off. So it's a bitch. But yeah, I hate soap opera effect. I thought I would have liked soap opera effect when I first heard about it. This is like 5 or 6 years ago when I bought my LG TV. And I thought, oh god, it'd be so cool turning 30 frames into 60. It'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great.
It's not when you're playing. It feels
like it's only certain things that are that refresh rate.
So then what do you recommend changing then? Because
turn it off.
Yeah, you keep it off. You don't
just turn off.
So that means you're gonna leave your TV at 30 frames a second. Then essentially is what you're saying.
No. So what it's doing is if you have a 30 frame source, so like a movie or something,
right?
Actually, that's 24 and a half, but I digress. It will it will interpolate the signal and turn it into 60 frames. So it's generating 30 frames of your overall, to make 60, right?
Okay.
And it looks funky. It just does not look right.
But if your source is 60 FPS, then it's going to.
It won't touch it. It won't do anything to it. I don't think they do interpolation up to 120 frames because I don't think the chips on those TVs are fast enough for that. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't change the source. It doesn't bump the 60 hertz source up to 120 or anything. So it doesn't mess with that. But it's strictly just for like movies and stuff. Because everything's more cinematic at 30 frames. Which is why Avowed needs to be 30 frames.
Ugh.
God, when I saw that, they were like, oh, no, you don't need 60 frames. I'm like, this, again, just goes back to the whole how, like... Okay, once I get to the shrine, we're talking about the console updates and or price increases and all this stuff, because... Oh, my God.
I love that meme so much. Ew, brother, ew. But yeah, so my back to the original conversation, I got the AMD GPU because I couldn't find the NVIDIA. Because I think I bought like an Asus GPU and it fried, like it was just DOA. And then I went back to Best Buy.
Yeah, I remember you did that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah,
I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get this AMD because like Tom's Hardware recommended it. They said that was the one to beat right now because it was like the money's no object was buy the 4090, but the best bang for your buck was the 4900 XTX.
Oh, yeah, 7900 XTX.
Sorry, 7900. Jeez, I can't do my numbers tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pure rasterization was like off the charts.
Exactly. It's the only downside was like you mentioned DLSS and
and the fucking AMD drivers that are dog shit.
Yeah, so I was about to say like right now, like you have to wait about 2 or 3 months and then the drivers will catch up, but they're very much behind.
Yes.
And so I think it was Linus Tech Tips are saying it's the best GPU. Provide your patient for AMD's drivers.
Well, haven't they said that about AMD in terms of like when they went to the AM5 chip, if I remember correctly, like when those originally started releasing, they're like, look, great stuff here, but it's gonna be some time until it catches up. Basically, like what the AM4 chip was, if I remember correctly, right? Like AM4 at the very, very beginning was just kind of good, but then obviously it because it was able to go through multiple generations and everything, you could switch out the same motherboard or the same chip and keep the same motherboard and all that stuff. It then became extremely really good. And then the same thing, it's almost like they start back over, because I remember watching Jay's 2 cents, if I remember correctly, saying that same thing.
So was he talking the chipset of AM4 to AM5, or is he talking the CPU itself?
The chipset.
Okay.
Like,
oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay. Because Well, things are so funky these days because everything's all about pushing those PCI Express lanes because that's what your like M2 drives run on. So they just keep running more and more of these PCI lanes, and it's just kind of crazy how many lanes there are now.
Right. Yeah.
And every generation seems to have a new set. It's like so that's what I guess they're kind of pissed about with AM4 to AM5 is that because they've been sitting on AM4 for so long that they're missing on those PCI lanes, so you couldn't get as many M2 drives on your motherboard as you could on Intel. However, the flip side is on Intel, they would burn themselves out after 6 months. So
right, yep.
You get a really fast CPU and motherboard and stuff, but it's gonna fry itself by itself without you doing anything at all. Man, that Intel thing was a shit show. Though I guess there was some issue with AMD also recently. Something about they had to do a patch on Windows itself. Actually, the operating system had an issue with it.
You know, it's interesting you say that because I saw a bunch of articles about Microsoft and AMD's like, oh, now AMD can take advantage of like all this great performance and everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so there was some bug with it, and I'm not sure what would cause that because it's not like AMD would be building a chip for a different operating system. Right. Everyone forgets Linux exists unless it's on a server. So at this point, there is no other operating system that Intel or AMD targets other than servers or desktop because Apple got out of buying Intel chips.
Right. All right, Monkey, trying to upgrade.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah, AMD Windows. Oh, here we are. Microsoft backports AMD branch prediction improvements for Windows 11 23H2. Update available now. More users will see rise in performance improvements. This might be actually related to that huge security issue they had.
Data security issue?
So this was a year or two ago, because Tom's Hardware explicitly calls out branch prediction. Mm-hmm. And I'm probably gonna get this wrong because it's been a hot minute since I read that white paper on it. But there's something about there's a bug in the prediction. Okay, I'm trying to think of the highest level thing without going too dirty. So when you run a CPU, there's a thing called like branch predictions, and it's if everything on computers run like if-else statements. So effectively, if true, do this. If not true, do that.
Right.
And it's kind of ones and twos and stuff. There's a security issue where you could somehow break that, where you could just dump instructions into the CPU and break the prediction improvements for it. So you could inject things, lines of code that shouldn't have been there.
Right.
See if I can find it again. But that might be what that's related to. Backports AMD branch prediction improvements. That might be related to it, but they're not talking about that.
All right, quick question for everyone here right now. Does this look like a boss arena? Because this looks like a boss arena.
This looks like a boss arena.
This looks like a boss arena? Okay. All right.
Yep.
Just had to
almost certainly. Yeah.
Prediction.
You're getting funneled there. Apparently, if you've had Game Pass before, you can't get the free month of PC Game Pass from the NVIDIA app.
Wait,
So Microsoft just talked them out of me playing game. I was like, I'll do the free thing to check out the Call of Duty beta. Not that I was going to buy Call of Duty or sub to Game Pass for Call of Duty, because Call of Duty just generally sucks. But I was like,
don't
what?
you see what's going on like the day ago? They were just like, oh my God, Call of Duty's back with his movement and everything now. And now everyone's already complaining about it.
That's the thing with Call of Duty. Call of Duty's always the same shit. Like, and everyone acts like, oh, this year we're so back. And then a month later, it's like, this game's fucking done, bro. This game sucks. Asmongold and Shroud told me that it sucks.
Oh God,
dude. Oh,
like so Asmongold, the degenerate, Shroud, the Chinese guy. All right, I think he's pushing this game being the game of the year.
Wasn't he in a? I saw some article about him where he was extremely pissed about that whole like streamer of the year thing or whatever, or something like that. It was really weird. Like he's really mad about it.
Oh, he was not mad. It was Shroud has moved to just becoming one of those rage bait grifters, and I hate to say that because Shroud used to be a really cool dude, but now it just seems like he's just like all the other YouTubers who are just like whatever the quote unquote gamer sentiment is at the moment, that's what he's echoing and saying just to like validate those things.
That's where the money's at.
Yeah, and then like, cool, get your bag, dude. Like, get your bag.
Yeah.
I'm down.
That's what Asmongold does too.
Yeah, that's what Asmongold does too. That's what Yang Ya does too. Like, it just that's what it is. That's the grift nowadays. It's like that's how they make their money. Cool. It's like Yang, you're like the voice of Kiryu now. Like,
you
don't need to grift on YouTube anymore, dude.
Yeah, you gotta present yourself a lot better. Even though the Yakuza fan base hates him so much, and it's not even really fair.
They do. And
why do they hate him?
Just because. So the thing is, they never should have dubbed Kiryu. That's the full thing. Kiryu has been the same voice actor in Japanese for like 20 something years now.
Oh jeez.
I don't care if you're fucking Keanu Reeves, you would still get laughed out of the damn game for trying to do an English voice for Kiryu. It's just it wasn't fair to him.
The only one who could do it is Ben Starr. Let's be real.
I think even he would just get because the fan base.
I'm kidding with that.
No, I would love him as Kiryu. I'm not one of those. I don't think Yang Yi did too bad. His singing's terrible, but other than that, I thought he was fine.
Wasn't he in Inside Out 2 or something like that?
Yes, he was. He was in Spider-Man 2 as well for like 3 seconds.
He's in Spider-Man 2?
Mm-hmm.
The video game, you mean? Or the movie?
The video game, yeah.
Oh,
the movie, he would have been like 3 talent.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Well, you could have said Far From Home. Like maybe he was there for something.
No.
Okay.
I would say Far From Home because I'm very much a Spider-Man.
What was he in for Spider-Man 2?
When they break into the gym, like in the flashback sequence.
Oh yeah.
For the USB and like Peter ends up like on the ceiling and stuff.
Right, yeah.
When the cop comes in, he's like, "You called us." That's Yang Ye. It's just like the cop in that scene.
Oh, okay. So he gets a line basically. Okay.
He's in there for like he has like 2 or 3 lines. He's in there for like 3 seconds.
That's why the budget was so bloated.
They had to pay the guy who played Kiryu to play a cop, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
Kiryu.
I was like, man, when did he record that? He recorded that like 2020 or something. They must have.
2023 is what, but it's just additional voices. It doesn't have a name for it.
No, that's just when it came out. I'm just.
But like they didn't give him the poor guy a name. Behind the voice actors, he doesn't have a name for that role.
Yeah, because he's just like additional. It's just random cop.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Is he
shit! He was in JoJo.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff, and like not all of his voice acting is bad. It's not like some of it's pretty good, but it's just sometimes I'm like, why did you get hired for this one? Like, this is not your wheelhouse, my guy. Like,
oh, he's also in Demon Slayer. Okay.
Like, you know what is
Larry from Pokemon? Huh? Okay.
Is I am happy that we brought up Ben Starr. Ben Starr's is something we're gonna be talking about later, guys.
Hot diggity daffodil.
33 Expedition. Fucking weirdest name.
Claire, weird ass name, but it looks terrible. Like it looks really fun. Looks really fun, but incredible. The weirdest name ever.
Right? I'm like, geez, man. How
they're saying the Kojima approach to it.
Right? Kojima is fucking like Death Stranding, dude.
Like.
I might be able to try that out at TGS.
I am definitely not a fan of Death Stranding. I thought
I didn't like Death Stranding 1, but you know what?
It's boring. I wanted to like it because it's a typical Kojima stupid storyline that I really enjoy, but I just couldn't do it. It's a walking simulator. I don't like walking simulators.
I started playing it during lockdown, and I was not vibing with the something horrible happened to America, so everything's destroyed. That was just not gelling with my mental state at the time.
Yeah, the timing wasn't terrible. wasn't great.
I played about 5 hours, and I was like, I just need to not play this game right now. Like, I'll play anything else. This game is just a little heavy for my mental state.
All right, I'm gonna go back to the shrine. I'll keep it on the pause menu because I know Lemon, you got to get to work tomorrow, so we'll get these topics finally talked about. We always get distracted by everything we're talking about. We're like, oh shit, time like an hour's gone by now.
We do talk our shit.
Oh, Bobby, it's like with you, me, and Lethal, right? We're like, all right, we're getting ready for the video and everything, and then like an hour's passes. Like, didn't we just cover everything that we're gonna talk on the video without recording?
I know, that's why like me and Lethal now go, okay, we need to stop and just stop,
just shut up.
Yeah,
well, that's not like just record the whole thing, just make it a podcast. There you go. Then it's like
We
halfway
did,
through,
but we would start talking before the podcast.
Yeah.
so
it's literally the moment you start the call up, just start. Just
that is actually what we should have done. Talon.
Yeah, because like podcasts, the best podcasts, the most bizarre tangential ones, those are my favorite parts of podcasts. Just
Someone
total
comes in.
weird
Sorry,
things.
guys, I was waxing my. I was.
I like you, the way you ended that at was perfect.
I was waxing my grundle. And, I apologize.
Somehow you just made it better.
Took a little longer than I thought. A little bit of bleeding. Yes.
Rubo, what's going on? Yes, this is chapter 3. This
Jesus.
is chapter 3.
Woo, that's a short. I'm kidding.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what that was.
Okay. I'm just gonna hit. So
Does anyone
now.
has a PC that has not had Game Pass and want a Game Pass code in chat?
I'll be right back.
Oh, if anyone wants free Game Pass, by all means, go ahead.
Free PC Game Pass if you've never been a Game Pass customer before.
Oh, there you
I
go.
think I should have this.
All right. Do we want to talk Expedition or do we want to talk Consoles Are Dying?
Consoles are dying. I wouldn't go that far.
Dude, you gotta start off with a statement
Hyperbolic ass statement.
Yeah, bold ass statement and everything. Because what I figure what we can do, we can talk about the fact that the raising prices here in Japan. It's rumored that the Switch 2 or Switch Pro is going to be vastly more expensive. Obviously, the PS5 Pro, a lot of people are expecting it to be now $900. And then we can also tie in that that developer that you found, saying like, I wish the Series S never existed.
Oh man, that was vindication.
Yeah,
for all the shit we've talked for like 3 years.
I know, right? Because you can tie back into this generation. Again, Switch is obviously its own thing, but like this generation especially has just felt very lackluster to a lot of people, right? I mean, the fact that we still see people come out and be like, so we're targeting 30 FPS.
There's nothing wrong with 30 FPS.
Shut your mouth.
It's more cinematic.
Shut your mouth.
You know what's funny is the older consoles ran at 60 FPS more because
shit wasn't as crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Do we all remember what the greatest game of all time, Ocarina of Time, ran at?
Wasn't
We're
that
not
like
gonna talk about that, Lemon.
Not like 20.
It's like 24 and a half.
No,
I think actually
it's 20. It's 20.
Was it flat 20? Oh my god, it's even worse.
Flat 20.
Okay.
What was it? Mario 64 was like 30.
Mario
Yeah.
64 was 30, if I remember correctly. Yes.
But you got to understand, at that point in time,
Well, for one
Right,
thing, the average TV could not even hit 60 FPS.
Yeah.
There
Oh, yeah,
wasn't
they
even
could, yeah.
HDMI or anything. It was all aux cables and everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
but it could still do
like
60
RCA cables. Yeah, you can do 60 of them.
You could.
I was
Yes.
playing 60 FPS Sega games, man, in 1992.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm just gonna bring this up right now. So here we go. All right. You guys ready to go then? Editors, cut everything up until
Yep.
now, and we're good to go. Okay.
Yeah, don't talk about me. Okay.
Yeah. Ladies and gents, I think it's time to admit the hard truth that we don't want to. Consoles are dying. Why buy a console these days? Why buy them, right? This generation has been completely lackluster for most people. You go online, you see that all over the place. We are now seeing that prices are rising in other parts of the world for current gen consoles, especially here in Japan. It is now raising a extra 20%, and it's not looking good. The Xbox platform is just basically going everywhere into a third party. And now we see rumors that the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to be reaching up to $800. We see rumors that the Switch 2/Switch Pro is going to be like $500-$600. It is an absolute mess right now. And yes, I already know what you're saying. You're saying rumors, Talon, reel it back there, buddy. You need to just stop and wait till actual confirmation. But if this is the trends that we are seeing with current gen consoles right now, what the F? Like, what the F is going on, right? If we look at this particular article that I'm looking at here on screen right now, it says after its launch in 2020, the cost of the PS5 disc version has increased a total of 60%, and the PS5 digital has increased a total of 82.5% in Japan. Now, granted, this is in Japan. I get it. Weekend, the whole line, but we're going to keep going so we can continue to talk about this. Sony cites a challenging external environment, including fluctuations in the global economy. If you know anything about global economies that happened over the last few weeks, you know exactly why this is happening. For the reason behind the 3 price increases. Japan is on the extreme end, but other markets have seen 1 or 2 price increases too. If I remember correctly, I think Brazil saw a price increase, which is definitely not good. Which is unique for console hardware. The weekend yen against the dollar is certain one reason. In 2020, the PS5 launched for what was the equivalent of $480. Today, that would equal about $345 with everything right there. Hence, the price increases to what it essentially is, $550. Another factor is likely the crackdown on exports of Japanese consoles to other markets, especially China. If you guys don't know what that's supposed to be referencing to, Black Myth Wukong has seen a huge increase in PlayStation 5 sales over in China. And it's, I mean, again, with how popular Black Myth Wukong is, that would make total sense as well. It continues on saying Sony is looking to normalize prices globally to avoid selling a high quality of units under production costs in a single market. This will, of course, impact gamers in Japan. In the short term, there will be a surge in purchases to avoid the price hike effective September 2nd. I can tell you right now, it is impossible to find anything online or in stores when it comes to PlayStation 5s, controllers, other accessories, you name it. I cannot find them anywhere, and I just happen to be getting stick drift on my first console ever. Terrible timing. Anyway, we continue on by saying, in the medium to long term, HD console gaming is becoming more unaffordable, and the PlayStation 5 Pro will no doubt cost more. It is also worth noting that this will likely impact the successor to the Nintendo Switch price in Japan too, as it's unlikely Nintendo will be able to keep the price as low as the original Switch was at launch. Oh boy, I've got some thoughts, but I think this just goes back to just this generation in general, right? From the moment this generation launched with all of the scalping and everything to prices not going down because companies have to see that line go up, up, up regardless, instead of realizing realistically that things were going to go down a little bit and then eventually go back up to normalize. No, they have to obviously just keep the line going straight up. We always know that's basic. Corporations and companies and all that stuff. We've known that. Or if you've taken any basic economics class, or even if you haven't and you've learned anything from basic schooling, you should know this. Just again, basic logic here. But just what does this mean going forward, right? Because I feel like every console generation ever since probably the GameCube, at least that I can personally remember. I wasn't paying attention to this stuff when I was 7 or 8 years old. But ever since like the GameCube days up until the end of the PS4 and the Xbox One, like prices went down over time for the console, and then eventually when the new one came out, that one was some brand new price because obviously the old one was not going to be the big thing anymore or anything like that. Now we have seen prices increase for all areas of the world. I think even the US did see one small increase. It wasn't huge or anything, but they did see one small increase for the consoles. I could be wrong on that. But then obviously a bunch of other countries around the world, including Japan, Brazil, and other areas, have been seeing prices increase. Right. And obviously we've seen that with game price increases and all that. So it really, obviously it boggles my mind. I get it on one point. Companies, I get that, but it still boggles my mind that this is still happening. And the fact that if I had to take a wild guess right now, I'm going to say that the PlayStation 5 Pro, which is still rumored to be coming out either this year or at the very beginning of next year, like January next year, I think that thing is probably going to cost around $650 US to $700. And if it is that, it is basically be the equivalent of $1,000 in yen here in Japan. And I can tell you right now, nobody here in Japan is going to buy that. I'm not even buying that. Forget that shit. And if the Switch now, with these rumors about the Switch increasing in pricing as well with the Switch 2, and there's rumors saying between $400 to $500, oh boy, like, damn, that's just, that's crazy. That's crazy. Joining me as always though is Lemon and Little Bobby. Bobby, I want to get your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on all this stuff? Do you feel like this is I know the intro statement of saying consoles are dead and all that stuff and not needed is a little extreme to some, but damn, this hurts. This hurts to see. This really does. I want your raw thoughts and opinions right now. Go.
consoles are not dead. I hate to break it to everybody. Like, there's this big argument and this big push right now for everybody to move to PC. Like, PC, you can build a PC that beats a PS5 for $500, same thing. But you're not accounting for the fact that people are fucking lazy. You know, they're just lazy. Like, think about like this, right? How many people buy like a Samsung, whatever, Galaxy or whatever they're called now, versus an iPhone, right? iPhones are huge. And why is that? Because they're easy and they're like idiot proof, right? You can do so much more on one of those Samsung Galaxies. You could set up, like, they have a better camera. You could set up like side load shit through it. You know, you could do all this shit that you can't do on an iPhone and like really make it your piece of hardware. But that takes work. So people go like, I'm just going to buy my iPhone and let them like use their weird iPhone AI to pretty up my pictures. Like, I don't need a good camera because the AI will do it for me. I don't have to think about it. I just take a picture and it makes me and my friends look good, or looks whatever I'm shooting look good. There's always going to be a market for the simplicity of consoles. Like, I hate to break that to anybody. I don't know where this like don't get me wrong, dude. I've been gaming on PC for like 16 years. You know, I've been on PC forever. I love PC. I love the platform, like how much you can do with it. I use PC and Steam Deck more than my PS5 and my Switch, right? But the fact that, like, you know, I have my Steam Deck is not lost on me that's effectively a console. It's like a plug and play. You just download your games and play them. And yeah, you can kind of mess with the settings and stuff a little more, but it just generally, you know, it's the console experience for PC gamers. And I have another friend who bought a Steam Deck and plays way more games now because of his Steam Deck versus, you know, he only played on PC before. People like simple things and they will pay for them. I do not think a PS5 Pro should be $800. Like, good Lord, like $650 is all you're going to get from me probably. Outside of that, I'll be like, can't justify. Switch, I'll pay $500 for it because IP. I've said that like 1,000 times. IP.
And the Nintendo IP is obviously very strong. Like, I get that. I definitely do get that.
Yeah, and if I already have a PS5, like, I don't need a PS5 Pro because I can already get that IP, right?
Right, exactly.
But yeah, I've seen this sentiment a lot recently, and like I love PC gaming, but I also think that people just, you know, a lot of it comes from like Xbox fans who, you know, they're trying to pivot to like, well, Microsoft is PC too, bro. So, you know, like, just because the Xbox is kind of going under, like, they're not selling and they're putting their games everywhere, so there's no real reason to own the hardware. Like, we're still PC too, so everyone just build a PC. To really get a good gaming experience, like, you really need, like, you know, you're spending at least a grand.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Lemon? Like, you're spending at least $1,000 on a PC that you're getting a really good experience on.
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
I'm not even buying laptops. Just laptops, just to bum around the house with for less than $1,000 at this point. So, yeah.
I mean,
Probably
if you look at PC prices right now, if you go and look at, like, because again, if I'm not talking 1080 60, right? A PC's been able to hit that for years, right? Let's bump this up a little bit. Let's say 1440p across all major games right now, 60 FPS to 90 FPS, give or take, right? You're looking, if you want to build a PC, you're looking around $1,500, maybe $2,000 if you really want to go and get some more expensive aesthetics, right? You know, I want the white RGB, you know, with the white GPU, that type of stuff, right? But I would say $1,500 right now is like is not like the minimum PC you can buy. You can obviously buy a PC for very cheap and everything like that. But if you want, like, you know, something to kind of future-proof yourself and not be, you know, oh, I can play 1080 60 for like the next year and then I've got to upgrade, you're looking at least 1,500 plus, I would say, personally.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like if you're really, I think, and I could be wrong, aside from obviously Steam and those platforms being obviously awesome and everything, but if you're buying a PC just to barely scrape and get, you know, 720p 60, like, honestly, just buy a console at that point. Like, I really don't see the point, right? Like, you can still download Steam on a laptop and get your library going with Steam sales and everything. And then eventually when you do get that big beefy PC or a semi beefy PC, then you just be like, oh, I've already got the games because I got everything on Steam already. Right. Because I like,
why would you just buy a Steam Deck though?
Right,
Yep,
or you can do that
absolutely.
exactly too. Yeah, you
It's
easily
cost as
could.
much as a PlayStation, and you can buy Steam games for
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, you easily could do that, right? I mean,
That does 720.
right. So like in especially in other countries, like a PC is not like as popular as PC gaming is becoming, especially even in a country like Japan, where Japan for a while, like PC was not the thing, right? It was console day and day, right? That's just how it was. But PC did start to become more and more popular, but now you're not seeing it. But now it's all of a sudden stopped essentially because the prices are still just out of control, right? Like everyone always talks about AMD being the cheaper, better version essentially, or the better performance to dollar ratio essentially, right? Not necessarily in other countries. Here in Japan, it's actually more beneficial for me, I'd say 90% of the time, to go buy an Intel CPU, which is weird, especially with the whole 13th gen, 14th gen nonsense that's going on right now. I don't want to touch that stuff, right? Like I was actually considering just going with Intel because everywhere I looked, Amazon, local PC stores, you name it, secondhand markets, because I know what to look for and everything. It didn't matter. Like I was just like, all right, I might as well just go get an Intel. Like I remember seeing this deal at a local PC store. I could get like a motherboard and I could get i7 14700K or whatever for the equivalent, quote unquote, for like I think it was like $400, maybe $500 or something like that. And I was like, yes, this is looking great and everything. And then the moment like everything stopped here and prices started to increase again in terms of the PC parts. And then obviously we saw everything happening with the high-end 13, 14 gen CPUs. I was just like, okay, well, that's not happening. Just not going to happen and everything, right? And actually, Bobby, when you said that, PlayStation 5 Pro, $800, like that should never happen or anything like that, I typed that into a yen converter, again, Japan, Sony, Sony not caring about Japan anymore, essentially. Guess how much that would be sorry, let me back up here a second. In a perfect world, $100 usually should be the equivalent to 10,000 yen, essentially. Okay, we say ichiman in Japanese. Okay, all you basically do is you take the Japanese yen, you take the decimal point, and you bring it over to the left 2 times. That's how you generally could calculate the yen to the dollar. Super easy, right? So if something, for example, was 5,000 yen, bring it over twice, that's $50, right? Very basic, okay? So, but if you take $800, right? $800 US. And so you take the decimal point in reverse, you go to the right, that would be 80,000 yen, right? That should be perfectly that's normal right there. Guess how much it is though, if with the current yen right now, how much it would be? It would be almost $1,200 for a PS5 Pro. And I'm looking at that going, hell to the no. Damn, that would be absolutely ridiculous. And I get that Sony and PlayStation have always sold consoles at a loss. All the big money's in their subscription services, their online purchases, all that stuff. I get that, right? But it's just like, God, like where is this current console generation going right now? It baffles my mind. It really does. Especially when you then start to, again, if we go back to the sentiment that we've seen ever since this launch of these current gen consoles, everyone feeling kind of very underwhelmed and everything, always seeing the headlines about, oh, this game's going to run 30 FPS. I mean, we saw this back with Redfall. We saw it with Starfield. We saw it now with Avowed coming out. We've seen it with most majority games, it feels like, right? Oh, we can hit 30. It's like, seriously? Right? And again, I get it. Lemon, you and I have talked about this a bunch where instead of going from 1080 to 1440, we jumped straight to 4K last gen. And trying to throw in all these extra visual effects and everything, and things like UE5 engine, just totally, killing performance and everything. Like I get why it's happening. I get why 30 is the target for a lot of these. It still just sucks that in 2024, we can't even hit 60 a majority. And especially when we see tweets like this, like Bobby sent me from Del Walker, who is a developer himself. He's made games on consoles and everything. But he even made this tweet that went a little viral saying, I wish the Series S never existed, man. So annoying to optimize for that console. I expect we'll unfortunately see more game launches skipped Xbox in the future. This is in everything going with how Black Myth Wukong has skipped, quote unquote, skipped the Xbox, even though they're trying to deal with, I guess, a memory leak right now in either the X or the S. I'm not really sure about that. But we saw this with Baldur's Gate, where they had to get special permission because of the split screen on the S again. And then he even makes a comment right down below here saying, because everyone's trying to attack the tweet and everything. He goes, no need to get triggered by my personal experience. I just do not like having to optimize current gen games for that console, and I wish it never existed. The Xbox Series X is an amazing piece of hardware, though. Fantastic console. So, like, all this stuff just stacking on top of each other for their current gen right now, just it's annoying, to say the least. And I can tell you right now, as someone who does live in Japan, who unfortunately lives off of the yen right now, like, when the Switch 2 gets announced in the future, so we're expecting that sometime in either spring of 2025 is what we're expecting, right? Both my wife and I, because unfortunately Japan goes by this kind of lottery system in order to reserve a console, we are going to be going on to every online store that we possibly can. We're going in person to different stores and putting it under different names so that we can even have a shot at trying to get one Switch 2 or whatever like that. I know Nintendo has come out by saying, no, we're going to make sure we have plenty and everything. No, it doesn't matter. You could delay a console that's technically finished for another year trying to make more and more. It doesn't matter. They're still going to get bought up by bots and everything. With the scalping and everything. And then not to mention the fact that now there's supposedly some kind of chip shortage again. Like, it just, I don't know. Lemon, any
there's
thoughts?
so many points I wanted to make, but I didn't want to interrupt because you were in such a rant.
I know I was. I know this feels like a rant.
I was like, I just feel like I just want to interject, but like, nah, let him cook.
Go.
Let him cook.
I'm done. I gotta cool down a bit here.
First, economics.
I know.
The PlayStation 5 is going to go up in price because the market allows for it. I do not think the PS5 or any console this generation, well, we can include Switch in this equation for now, will go down in price. Even Microsoft's like, F it. We don't need to because we're trying to torpedo this ship. But I digress. If the market supports the price, they should increase the price, or at the very minimum, keep it the same. There's no reason to decrease it. The reason why consoles in the past decreased is because the sales were decreasing, but we're seeing that's not really happening. Or at the very minimum, the board doesn't think it's happening, so they're going to keep the price at the same price, or if not, increase it to increase revenue. Right. And I'm, for full disclosure, not a shareholder in Sony. I do not care. But I do like seeing the market go up, and my wallet gets fatter because of such things.
Smart man.
Yeah. But as a whole, let's think. What other points did I have I want to make? I didn't want to stop you. I think I do. So I did want to kind of point out, I'll be the voice of kind of, I'll be the guy people argue out in the chat and in the comments and call me out, much like my Nomura comments. I get that developers' frustrations about the Series S. However, I think more now than probably any time in the last 20 years, optimization is critical, because we're now looking at, we brought the Steam Deck. That is a very kind of gutless device relative to, quote unquote current gen, right? Mm-hmm. The Switch, very gutless, and I think it's a fair assessment to make that the Switch 2 might be on the level of a Series S. I don't think that's too crazy of a statement to make. And so that whole, the Series S is really kind of screwing up these poor developers' days. Well, I mean, the Switch 2 is also going to come around. I don't think it's going to be on par with a PS5 or a Series X. So they're going to have to deal with optimizations. Sure, they might not put the game on the Switch 2 or whatever they're going to call it, but that's money on the table. So, and Sony themselves have already kind of made it clear that they want the money. That's why all their major games have been going to the PS4. We're finally starting to see that stop. But I think as a whole, the developer community just needs to accept you need to support huge gaps in
Well, I think ever since 2023, like I'm okay. We had to I think with the whole like last gen, so PS4, Xbox One, and technically the S, and I know that's in the middle thing. You have to break them down into two types of games. You have your Call of Duties, your Fortnites, your games that are going to do well across the board, right? But ever since I would say 2023, we started to see more of a push towards only current gen right now. Again, unless it's Call of Duty, random sport game enter here essentially, and all that stuff. Although actually, that last football game, I believe, that was super popular for a lot of people, that's only on PS5 and Xbox Series X, if I remember correctly.
Sport game?
It's some football game. Like it's like they haven't had like the last. I think it's the NCAA game or whatever.
The EA one.
Yeah. Like it's been a long time since they've released that stuff, but that's only on current gen right now and everything, right? So I think up to 2022, maybe early 2023, I would agree with you on that point, but that's not the case anymore. A lot of it is now just current gen again, unless it's your typical live service stuff that's trying to go everywhere. But even some of that live service stuff is not going to last gen. Again, Call of Duty is going to be the exception. But even, I mean, meme it about all you want. Concord only went to current gen. I'm sure Xbox's hero shooter with the card things that they announced at Summer's Game Fest and everything, that's only going current gen. That's not going previous gen, although technically you can play it on there.
I forgot about that.
But it has to, but you have to do it through streaming and everything, right? So it's just this generation, like, while I personally love my PS5. I like being able to play my PS4 games on there. I can play the PS5 games. I love the current games that came out this generation. Everything from Rebirth to Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, which, yes, I know was on the PS4 and everything. Like, there have been good games. There are been. Anyone saying that it's dead and there's nothing to play, go back and play Apex. We don't care about your opinion. But it's just with everything going up in price right now and everything, when the average consumer is not able to afford this stuff, which I think is the other aspect of it coming in essentially, that's where this all just feels overwhelming, I guess would be the word I want to use, right? You have prices going up everywhere, but we don't see prices increasing but we don't see income increasing for the average person, right? Or in terms of things like other countries, like whether it's Brazil or even Australia, right? Like the exchange rate and how things are priced just makes things extremely expensive, right? So it's just like, I don't know, maybe I've got rose-tinted glasses on back with the GameCube and the Wii and everything, but I remember, granted, I was a teenager, but I don't remember it being that crazy, like, expensive to go out and try to buy. Like, if you saved up just a little bit of money and everything, I could go out and I could buy a Wii. I could go out and buy a PlayStation 3, even though I know the PlayStation 3 was a crazy price at the very beginning, but then we saw crazy prices decrease because no one was buying them, obviously, which I get, economics again. But even, again, going back to when the PS2 was at its height and everything, or the GameCube or anything like that, like, it wasn't that bad to go out and buy things, right? And I'm not saying, like, my parents didn't go out and buy me anything when it came to games. I had to buy all that stuff. I had to save money for my birthdays or Christmas or anything like that. I had to buy all that stuff. It didn't feel as much of a squeeze, I would say. I don't know. Maybe I've got rose-tinted glasses.
That is rose-tinted glasses, though, Tal, because you were taught, like, the Super Nintendo regularly had games that cost $60, $70, $80 even in the 90s. That's vastly more than we'd be paying now. The SNK consoles, not SNK. Yeah, SNK. Those consoles were $800 in the 90s.
The 3DOs too, yeah.
Yeah, so like I
wasn't buying consoles when I was a baby though.
No. But what I was about to say, we grew up in a period of time where consoles in gaming was probably at the cheapest it's ever been.
Yeah.
I mean, as a whole, as I stated earlier, the gaming industry is the biggest media, right now. And it will do absolutely everything in its power to squeeze as much money out of us as possible, as much as the market can take. If we see that this does in fact decrease sales, it will change and it will bounce back and prices will lower. That's how supply and demand works. Yeah. It's just kind of this. I think we're in a weird state just due to the way things are going. Just came out of a pandemic, inflation skyrocketing to save us from recessions, if not worse, a depression,
which are starting to come down now, but prices have not either come down a bit or, again,
we are at the peak of it. So we are coming out of increasing inflation which was fighting the potential recessions.
And I get that. I 100% get that. Again, it's just in this moment, right? Maybe in a year or two, right? Switch 2 will be completely fine in terms of a good average price. PlayStation will still be kind of that more Apple style premium in the gaming area. And things will be maybe not the greatest, but they'll be better, I would say. But I would say for the next year, at least in my personal opinion, or the way I'm at least trying to envision it, it ain't getting easier anytime soon, and it's going to be a wild ride, to say the least, if you can say that. Would you guys both agree with that?
I think it's not fair to compare now to 20 years ago, is all I'm saying.
No, I wasn't. I guess the way I was looking at it, I wasn't trying to say that 20 years ago to now. Like I really wasn't trying to compare. I know it probably came off like that. I really wasn't trying to. I'm just saying, like, at the time, in, I guess, what were you, junior high, Lemon, early high school, I would say, during that time, give or take, it felt like things were not that bad. But like you said, though, like after I stopped talking there for a moment, you did clarify, which thank you for doing that, saying that, look, during that particular time when we were that age, that was when gaming was at its cheapest, essentially. Mm-hmm. Right? So yeah, we were definitely spoiled at that point. So, and again, I wasn't around when games were $90 and consoles cost almost $800 back in the late 80s because I wasn't born yet. So I know about that.
That was the mid 90s.
That was the 90s, yeah. SNK and all that. That was 90s.
I was, again, still 4 years old. 4-year-old Talon couldn't even concept money and saving and all that stuff. I was walking around California somewhere.
The extreme jump between the mid to late 90s and early 2000s is crazy in hindsight.
Right,
how cheap everything was.
Remember in like 2003, you could get a GameCube for $100.
It was like 100. I think it was like 120 bucks or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, it was $99 at Walmart. Like
I think I do remember seeing that at Game Crazy. If you guys remember those days.
Now who's old?
Yeah, now who's old?
Bring it up. Game Crazy.
Same era.
Same era. Yeah, technically. So. Well, that's all Lemon and I had. We didn't have a GameStop. We had a Game Crazy, even though I think eventually they bought
we had Funko Land. Yeah, we had Funko Land. Then it turned into a GameStop after they got bought out. I remember Funko Land.
Yeah, but
no association with the Funko dolls.
Oh exactly. Yeah, those things suck.
I don't know. I guess my final thing to say is that it's not gonna get easier for a while. Is what I would say. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens over the next, I would say, year, essentially, right? Ignoring online console wars and all that stuff, I don't give two shits about that. But with the PS5 Pro coming out, at least because it's basically all but confirmed at this point, the Switch 2 next year, global economies and everything, currency exchanges. I know US, you generally have not had to really care about that. Lucky for you guys, but. It's going to be an interesting couple of years, I would say. And we'll have to see where everything goes. My hope is that things would start to level out and become better, but I don't know. Again, without companies there are and economics and all that, I don't expect it to. I really don't. So I know part of this probably felt like a huge rant, but I had to get it off my chest. So
just part of it?
Just part of it. So,
exactly. Alan hates consoles.
Yeah. I hate consoles, man.
Console hater.
Give me my iPhone. I should be gaming everything on my iPhone.
Yeah.
God.
Go back to your gotcha games. Jeez.
Don't do them like that, Lemon.
All right. That is a great spot to end it right there, I think. That was a great little just ending spot. That was amazing. Lee, sorry. We were talking and everything right there, but doing a discussion, I should say. Did we ever watch the video from Nagus, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, about how Wukong is an achievement in the gaming industry? I mean, I think it's for some stages it is. It shows that there is a huge market over in China for one, and Sony is definitely already ahead of that, trying to get in bed with them essentially, which again makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that.
But so. It's clearly done well in terms of Black Myth Wukong. Is it the game of the generation and better than Baldur's Gate 3 and all that stuff? No, there's clearly a lot of issues still with the game, especially with performance and everything like that. But if you're someone who can look past that, it is a very good game and everything like that. if you try to delve deep into what it means beyond just a game in terms of the industry and everything like that, you're gonna create some headaches there. I'll tell you that much right now. So that's gonna be a little too political for my liking today. So I don't want to talk about that right now.
Do it.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Talk about the socioeconomic implications of Wukong being big.
Oh,
Japan.
God. Well, I mean, everything
what
from
that means for the Chinese market as a very
quick thing, I will simply say, from everything that started a couple years ago with that pathetic IGN article that mistranslated like half that stuff in Chinese, to major outlets trying to cancel this game, which didn't we see that last year with a certain franchise? Started with an H. I can't put my tongue on it. What was it called? Oh, right. Harry Potter. Oh yeah.
Okay,
that was fun.
That's a little different.
That is apples and oranges talent. I get what you're going for with that one, but that is a little different. I get what you're going for.
Just saying.
Now look, I played Hogwarts Legacy, and I think that
nothing to do with the issue.
Yeah, I think the creator of Harry Potter is kind of a piece of shit, but the game was good. Like, yeah, the game was solid. Like, it was fun, good time.
Good time game.
And you know, she didn't really have all that much to do with it aside from going, yeah, you can use my IP.
And that's really all it was. She said, use the IP, and that was it.
Yeah, go ahead and use the IP, and they were like, cool. Like, so like those devs, you know, they worked hard. The stuff with Wukong, well, like my problem with Wukong is like everyone's going like, oh my god, every game needs to be like this. I'm like, bitch, Elden Ring came out earlier this year. Like, that shit was better than this fucking Wukong game. Sorry. Shadow of the Erdtree is way better than this. Like, Shadow of the Erdtree has exploration, all this
DLC.
Yeah, like all this shit. So and this, like, no disrespect to Wukong, because for our first outing, this looks fantastic. But it is just fucking a boss rush game. Like, and people pretend like it's the greatest thing that's ever been made.
You always have to ignore the people who are like, this is the greatest game generation, everything. It's like, look, I love Wukong. It's a very fun game, but I know there's clearly issues with it and everything. Like, that's just so anytime you see things online, I'm just like, whatever, guys. Like, okay, tone it down a bit, back it up here. Like, yes, good game, great success, and this, honestly, the biggest thing I look at this thing is kind of like back in, I guess 3 days essentially, or Xbox 360 days, is that because this has done so well for them, this is a great chance for them to build upon this for their next game they're making. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Like this is a great.
That should be the big takeaway from this, that they have done extremely well, and this has been extremely good for them. And now they can go and prepare for their, make things better for their next game. That's the big takeaway from it, for me personally. And
yeah, if your next game, with all of the money that you made on this, because you've made a fuck ton of money on this, is not like at least twice as good as this, then you are fucking up. Like, I get it, it's your first game, maybe there's performance issues. This is very linear, very simple. Like, go to boss, walk a little bit, go to boss, walk a little bit. Oh, you're on that one boss, Talon, that we saw in the footage.
Yep, we are.
Like, cool. But man, people are trying to say that this is the greatest thing ever. Okay, so in the Twitter sphere, which is the worst place in the world
to go. Yep.
I had someone the other day call me a racist, and it was because I said this game is doing really well because of China, and it makes sense because it's a game by Chinese developers. It's being celebrated by the Chinese government to the point where they're like, employers are giving employees days off to play it.
Yeah, and it's based in Chinese mythology. It makes sense. It makes sense.
It's based in a foundational Chinese mythological story. It's doing well in China because of all those reasons. It was like, this person was like, that's pretty racist, bro. And I was like, how the fuck is that racist? I'm not saying you gotta be Chinese to like it. I'm saying,
how dare you, Bobby? How dare you?
Well, and the problem with that is, or not the problem with that, but the problem is that, when you say something like anything on social media and everything, right? I could say like, oh yeah, no, this is doing really good. The China market's been a big push right there. Congrats. And someone's gonna look at that and be like, oh, so you're calling it, or so you're saying that Chinese gamers are, below us or something like that. It's like, I said congrats. Like I said, look, this
All right,
That's
I feel
exactly
like you're both
how.
missing the point. You guys really have to thicken up that skin. Twitter is effectively turned into the Call of Duty
I mean, it
lobby.
is. Yeah, no,
It
it
really
is.
has.
So
No.
take it with the biggest grain of salt.
But my thing with this whole thing is, they're like, why are you saying that? They're like, that's like saying Ghost of Tsushima is only did well because of Japan. I was like, no, Ghost of Tsushima did well because that was made for an American audience. It did well in America. And Japanese people, from what I've heard, really loved how respectful to the culture it was, and so it did pretty well over there too.
It did. It
Right?
did very well over here.
But it was made for an American audience, right?
Yeah, it was.
Initially, like, and he's like, bro, that's being racist. I'm like, dude, that's not being racist. He's like, well, how does that have to do with Wukong? And you're saying it's mostly China. And I literally just responded, then why do the player count numbers go down by like 90% on Steam when China is,
Asleep.
when the Chinese
they're asleep.
population would be asleep? And the person didn't even respond, and I was like, motherfucker, like, why are you people idiots on this fucking
Call of Duty
website?
lobby, man.
I'm telling, dude.
Don't let it
people
get to you. It's not
People
worth
don't
it.
think. I'm just like, look, like, like I just want people to like use fucking common sense and critical thinking. Is that too hard?
It is.
I
Way
know
too
this
hard
is-
for a
It's
lot of
way
people.
too
I know
hard,
this
dude.
is
In
America.
today's.
And Talon doesn't even have to deal with it anymore. You lucky son of a bitch.
Nope, I don't.
You don't have to deal with fucking Americans, which is. Sorry, that's probably racist. Americans are.
How could you, Bobby?
We are the dumbest people on the planet, and I try to be above that, but it's really difficult because so many people are fucking stupid. That all being said, no, Wukong looks fine, but like saying it's some kind of generational like I'll give you, like, if you want to say Elden Ring is a generational triumph, cool. If you want to say, Baldur's Gate, generational triumph,
I'd say
yes.
yeah. I'd say yeah.
But this it looks like a solid game.
Oh, yeah,
Boss rush.
Yeah.
You know?
I give it like an 8 out of 10. Mostly the performance is definitely bringing it down. But again, still a fun game. But anyone who's saying it's a generation thing, I'm like,
Oh God.
what?
Funny enough, I was watching we'll talk about this in a minute, the Clair Obscur Expedition 33 trailer again, and I went to the next video, and it was Destin Legary, and the video is titled "Black Myth Wukong Will Change the Game Industry." Please stop. These people. That's so like. Yeah. Why do you grift like this, man?
Because he gets the clicks.
It's like, look, I know you have to like position stuff as clickbait, but I feel like we never do things like disingenuously here, or at least we try. We try to be in good faith, like what we're talking about. We try to look into what we're talking about. We try and give our actual honest opinion on it and not just jump from like, this is the best thing ever. Like,
No, ever
let's
since,
be
I
real
mean, I
here.
think I remember telling you the moment this game came out, like, I'm like, yeah, it's fun. Not the best game or anything like that, but it's fun. And I'm going to continue to play it because I like it, right?
Yes, and that's what I'm doing with Concord. I know it's fucking bombing. It is bombing. I've never seen a bomb like this in my
You can't
life.
say things like that, guy. Like, people don't like that game. You're gonna get us canceled.
No, like, but I have enjoyed. I've played like 30 hours in a week.
Yeah. I mean, heck, even back in the beta,
got that many players?
I said the beta was it was very fun.
I'm
like
one of the proud 150 on Steam limit.
I thought it was down to like
Bummer.
97 or something like that.
No, I just checked. It was 150.
So are you able to find games, at least in some of the game types?
Yeah, it's crossplay. Okay. So like, So this goes back. Remember I talked about Suicide Squad, Talent?
Yeah.
In Concord, I go to find a game, and that shit finds a game in like 10 seconds.
Oh, you do
It's
that.
it's 100 times faster than Destiny's matchmaking.
Oh,
Which
Destiny's
has
matchmaking is
50,000
so
fucking
slow.
players.
Slow. They
That's
have
slow.
millions of players practically. That's always the slowest shit.
I know, and I'm like, what the fuck is going? Like, and I'm like, and apparently Concord was like number 4 on new games and like in the top 50 on PlayStation. Obviously not great, but I think on PlayStation, and that's what I said before. It's doing a lot better there than Steam. Like, I'm playing this. Well, up until yesterday, I was playing this on a controller because like it just feels really good on a controller. Like, it feels worse on mouse and keyboard until you get used to it. It's really weird on mouse and keyboard. I don't know what it is about it.
I personally didn't have any trouble with it, but I have heard that though, and I remember you saying that a bunch.
Yeah, it just felt weird. It feels weird compared to other shooters, but now I've gotten used to it. Like I went to the practice range because they added a practice range and like did a bunch of practice on it, and I was like, okay, like I'm starting to get a muscle memory to how this game plays on a mouse and keyboard.
Right.
So now it's making more sense, right? But it did take some like getting used to versus almost every other shooter. I could just kind of go in and at least feel like my shots are gonna hit when I shoot and stuff. This one took some getting used to, but like. Yeah, I'm like seeing that and going like I find games and I literally just saw an article on Twitter from Push Square that was like Concord players are leaving and it's leaving long matchmaking times. And I'm like, dude, I don't wait longer than I think the longest I waited was like a minute.
The longest, from what I hear, the competitive match mode is the one that takes the longest.
From that, yes, I've heard that nobody plays that.
Yes, but you're just average. Go in, shoot some people, and win the match. Like I've heard, it's still doing fine. So.
And you know what it is? Is competitive modes, right, are for young people. They are like Fortnite ranked and Warzone ranked, all that shit. It's for young people who are like hopped up on Adderall. Like wanted to like be like, well, what's that guy Booga, right? Who won like $1 million in Fortnite? Like I'm gonna be MLG pro, dude. Like, and it's like, who's playing Concord? Dads. I guarantee it's people who are minimum like 29, 30. That's who's digging Concord. And like it's cool because like for me, I'm like, this is like my speed. And I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, I haven't done this well at a shooter in fucking years. I must be matching up against like the 40-year-olds like me. And I still played with all these, these kids who are like 20 playing Destiny lobbies and Fortnite. Like, so I've kept with it. And you get the dads on the couch in Concord, and it's like, ugh. But yeah, Concord is like, it's fun. Like if it's dead in 6 months, sucks. Like I got a code from Josh Hamrick, so I'm not gonna complain. He was nice enough to put codes on his Twitter for a couple days, and I snagged one, luckily, and that was very nice. So I got the Ultimate Edition or whatever on PC. But I dig it, so it's but it is a bomb, right? It's kind of like this game is doing fantastically, and everyone's like, oh, well, the sales, look at the sales, it's got to be game of the year. I was like, bitch, Call of Duty outsells this shit every fucking year. It's never nominated for game of the year. Doesn't matter. Sales don't mean shit. Rebirth is the thing that will probably win. I feel like Rebirth
deserves it 100%. I don't care what anyone says. Rebirth
we can't.
Come on now.
We can't say
Zelda's
that yet.
Coming out this year.
I don't
Zelda's
care.
coming out.
I don't care.
Zelda's coming out.
DLC. The Elden Ring DLC came out. Come on.
That can't be game of the year.
Can't be game of the year.
I'm voting for it. I'm penciling it in.
Lemon, you're always against the normal stuff. You're always like, I gotta be the edgelord, and
I'm sorry.
He's a contrarian.
Yes.
I'm sorry that I voted for Elden Ring the year it came out. And the year after.
God of War was better.
Every year, he just writes an Elden Ring every year for the next 20 years.
Hey man, I'm going for that donkey record. Just always Mario 2 every year.
Jeff's like, and for that guy who keeps writing in Elden Ring, please stop. It's like 2048.
Please stop.
Please just stop.
The mailman keeps getting mad.
Your address is lemonthetroll@gmail.
Yeah.
And then, no, but like that's the thing. It's like game of the year conversation. We still have Zelda. We still have Astro Bot. We still have Metaphor, which I feel like Metaphor is going to be in that running.
Yeah.
Zelda is very likely to be in that running. It may not because of like how well Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild did with that formula, and now it's like the top-down 2D. But it's also very inventive for a top-down 2D. And then Astro Bot, like we just saw Mark Cerny say, "God damn, this is a game."
Yeah. No. Astro Bot, I definitely is saying it's probably going to do really, really well.
And I'm so ready for that. Like,
I can't wait. That's next week.
I haven't been able to start. Yeah,
God,
it's like
it's
about
seriously?
a week.
Oh, I was going to start playing.
It's about a week, and then the week after that is Plucky Squire, which I've been waiting for since 2021, and that's on PS Plus for free. PS Plus Extra for free, and then there's Zelda right after that. The week after that, and
I'm
then
leaving
there's
Zelda to you because I am unfortunately on TGS. So,
yeah, I think Metaphor is in October, right?
I think so. Yes, if I remember correctly. Yes.
You know what I do feel bad for is Indiana Jones, because
God.
Indiana Jones is their best chance in a long time of getting a Game of the Year nod, and it's going to be after the cutoff. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Wait, what is the cutoff?
It's like December 3rd or something.
Oh, it's by a day?
No, it's like a week, but still, it's like, what are you doing?
Wow.
I don't think that game's gonna be a contender for Game.
I think it would get a nod. I do. Because it looks way more quality than a lot of their other stuff. Looks like they've actually paid attention to like
I think it'll be a solid
franchise.
I think it'll be a solid.
I think it'll be like an best action of the year, but I don't think it'd be GOTY. I don't think it's just so far. Just after I heard that quote that we don't want people looking up puzzle solutions online. We're gonna make them just good puzzles. I'm like, oh, that's a weird thing to just throw out of nowhere. Okay, thanks, Todd.
Well, I mean that makes sense. Like I like to do puzzles without looking up stuff if I can.
I know, but that's just such a weird statement to make.
That's actually what took a lot of Elden Ring, like the joy of Elden Ring, away from me, because some of that shit was just so, like inscrutable. Like how the fuck are you supposed to figure this out yourself?
Yeah, but
taking hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Elden Ring, the fun of Elden Ring was just exploring stuff with other people, like seeing them, like, just kind of that community around it. Yeah. And some of that is having these just ridiculous things that no one should ever know. Like just getting into the DLC itself is a stupidly difficult thing to know how to do if you didn't know beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's to me, that's part of the fun, but I totally understand
this is chapter 3 still.
Yeah, Metaphor is in October. Okay.
It's just, God, there's so many games coming out starting next week. Actually, technically starting this past week. You had Wukong, then you had Visions of Mana, Star Wars. Like, damn.
By the way, I want to talk about like this thing that pissed me off earlier, right? Concord, right? We talked about it. It costs way too much money. First of all, I didn't know it cost.
Hang on. Let me start this up. Might as well start it up as a video. Okay, go.
So I've seen this information go around, right? Concord has cost like $100 million. That's a lot of fucking money, and they basically lost all of it, right? But one thing I've seen is a lot of people today trying to be like, Sony closed down Japan studios to make Concord, and that's horrible, and they're evil. And I'm like, they shut down Japan studios in the beginning of 2021, and they didn't buy Firewalk until 2023. They kind of helped with development money, but Firewalk also had another bunch of investors helping too. So like, what fucking sense does that make? Because you're absolutely full of shit, and it's another one of those like,
it's rage bait stuff and everything.
Yeah, they took our Bloodborne studio to make this, and that's why we're not getting. It's like, no, they didn't.
No,
Shut the fuck up.
Bloodborne studio. What? That was a FromSoft game.
It was developed in tandem, FromSoft and Japan Studio.
Oh, I didn't know they helped. I thought it just published.
Yeah. No, it was like 60-40, I think. But still, this is not true. This is in no way, shape, or form true. Like, if you've heard that.
Just real quickly, a lot of those people from Japan Studios are working on the Astro Bot game.
Yes, please buy Astro Bot.
Support them. There you go.
I bought that game. Well, okay. Like, my mom was like, "What can I get you for your birthday?" And I was like, "If you want, you can get me this controller." So I think she got me the Astro Bot controller.
Oh, nice.
Can you send me your old PS5 controller then that doesn't have stick drift?
No, what you need to do is you need to find someone who can solder and put some Hall effects in your controller down.
Oh, that we're talking.
They sell them now. Just like buy them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just go buy like kits to add
yeah,
the
my custom PS5 controller that I have, my cousin made it for me. He put Hall effects in it, aluminum buttons and sticks and triggers. And then a back plate that has 4 back buttons on it. And then I put in a massive battery. So all that stuff, like all the back buttons and stuff, take the battery faster than like the other controllers I have with the same battery, which will last like 15 hours. This one will die at about 9 or 10.
Okay.
But it's still like incredible because now it's basically like a DualSense Edge that I don't have to buy stick modules for.
Yeah. That's great.
Very, very nice. I can send you all the. Let me know. I'll send you the parts I use.
See, I'm scared to try that myself because I'd probably break it, but it would be a fun thing to try too.
If you have one that's already broken, there's
Actually, you know what's funny? I have a controller that the trigger, one of the triggers broke. I think it was the R2 button broke. The time that's the rubber band in it broke. It doesn't have any tension anymore. To me, that'd be a fun little project.
Yeah, you can see. I think some companies make Hall effect triggers too. I don't 100% know, but I can look into it.
Well, I'm just Googling Hall effect PS5 controllers. There's a shit ton of things. So it's a very common thing to do.
Yes. Like, even if you just buy one where people just like put them in for you, Talon, and then buy that battery, like that would change your life.
I'm sure it would. I mean, I still love the Switch Pro controller because of how
like 40 hours.
Yeah,
of battery
40
life.
hours of it and everything.
Best. It's the best.
I'd have killed for that at EA. Oh, you know what I should have brought up earlier? You know, when we were talking about the differences in generation stuff. Back in the day, like when those consoles were cheaper, right? When they were selling PS2s for like $150, and the Wii was, how much was the Wii? It was like $200.
200, I think, is what it came out to.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
So, like back in the day, when I was working at EA, we had the PS3 and the 360 games, and then we would have the PS2 version and the Wii version, and those two would be the same version, but it would be a completely different version than the 360 and the
Yep.
Xbox or the PlayStation 3 version. And like some games would not get the, like when I was working on Dead Space, and they're not making a PS2 version of Dead Space, right? Because it needed that tech.
Yeah.
On the PS3.
That lighting would never work.
Yeah, it would never have worked on a PS2.
No.
But when you think about that, it's like that's one of those things that I wonder if they're gonna try and bring back at some point. Like, oh, we're really gonna just make it a really stripped down version to keep PS4 and Xbox One alive. It's just weird that.
I hope they don't do that.
Well, I mean, you never know. They're trying to keep the PS4 alive as long as possible right now.
Exactly.
Oh, because it's a lot of lost money if they don't.
Yeah, but at the same time, you got to go like, all right, just fucking upgrade your shit now. Like just upgrade your shit now.
Yeah, try telling that to the Japanese player base.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is like the Japanese aren't going to care too much about GTA, right? That's not that big over there.
No, GTA is not that
so
big
like
over here.
you're going to see a huge influx, and this is what like makes me sad for Microsoft is they're kind of bowing out of everything right when GTA is going to come out.
David, you know it.
And hopefully they can, I don't know, stay alive. Like
Sony needs to just throw some more money at Squeenix and get them to make another Dragon Quest, and we'll finish the current one that they're building. That will get the PS5 sales going.
Honestly,
guaranteed.
Honestly, we need to talk about this too, Talon. But honestly, Sony's Bungie purchase is the biggest mistake.
Oh, it is one of the biggest mistakes ever. It absolutely is 100%.
They have the Destiny IP, and I still contend that that IP could make them that money back if they focused on that IP. But
you mean you don't want them to focus on Marathon?
No, Marathon's gonna fucking bomb.
It is.
It's gonna bomb.
They should just pull the plug on that now.
Not as bad as Concord, but it's gonna bomb.
Well, you know the way I look at it is, you had really high sales for Helldivers and probably super low for Concord, so they balance out.
JB?
That's not how Hollywood math works, my friend.
What are you talking about?
You know what's balancing it out is the price in Japan of the PlayStation.
Or all the PlayStation 5s being bought in China.
Yeah, well, that's probably what's happening is they're like, hey, you know what? The Japanese population, those PlayStations, a lot of them are going to China, and they want those right now because of Wukong. Yep. So let's just jack the price up there. That way, the buyers in China, they don't feel like, oh, we're getting screwed. It's just, oh, well, they're upping it for Japan. That's unfortunate, and we got to buy it from there. And the Japanese customers are like, oh, fuck, this sucks.
I mean, everyone, like you said, they're just going to go buy their third Switch. They got a Switch, they got a Switch OLED, they got a Switch Lite now. So
yeah, switch to the living room, switch to the bathroom, switch to the bedroom.
The next thing that'll be is that you're going to see an influx of those, like the cheap Steam Decks in Japan.
I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll see them. I don't know. It's,
if they're around the same price they are here,
again, you have to, if they unfortunately screw us with inflation and everything, and how just the yen is super weak right now, I don't think it's gonna...
Just import the Chinese Steam Deck knockoffs. It'll be great.
Yeah.
God.
The Steam Dock.
They'll have PlayStation buttons on it.
Well, no, two PlayStation button, 2 Nintendo button.
There we go.
All right, let's just talk about why am I blanking on the game? Expedition 33, because that game, did you guys see the gameplay?
Yeah, the one from today.
Looking really good.
Yeah, I guess.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, this is the first UE5 game where I'm like, hot damn, they made a world. Like it's not like, Wukong is like supposed to be like China, and like Hellblade is like Hellblade. It's Norway.
Well, Lemon, when we're talking about this, I want you to bring up what you and I messaged later on in the week, I believe, where we were talking about how it feels like at least a lot of teams and everything jumped on the UE5 hype.
Oh.
And now we're seeing the results of that essentially. But anyway, we'll get into that in a second. So, but if you guys haven't been hearing though, one of the biggest reveals to come out of the Summer's Game Fest / E3 season was a game called Expedition 33. Now, weird naming aside, this game is looking to be what a lot of old school RPG fans are looking for, because it is real-time turn-based commands, and everyone was talking about it. And it's actually supposed to be launching sometime in 2025, which is awesome. So we've got things, obviously, like we just stated, turn-based RPG with real-time elements. Timing is key for attack and defense. Battle system requires quick reflexes and strategic thinking. Turn-based commands. Turn order is displayed on screen. Skills and special abilities are key. Dodging and parrying are crucial. Perfect parrying can trigger a powerful counterattack. Each character has a unique playstyle / abilities, and just the list keeps going on and on. And if you guys saw the 6-minute gameplay that we saw that was literally released today at the time of this recording, it is looking very, very promising. And the fact that they showed this off and the game's not supposed to release until sometime next year, which if I had to take a wild guess, I'm going to say August next year. This is a wild guess. So let's just say they still have an extra year to be this confident and just show straight gameplay. No cuts, no cutscenes, nothing. Just here you go, 6 minutes of gameplay, go. Like that's impressive to me. That shows they are confident with it. Now, the one thing that's still kind of to me is the fact that it's on UE5. We'll get into that in a little bit, but it's looking to be very good. So I will say this though before I let you two talk about this real quick. Support this game. For everyone that claims that they want turn-based, style RPG games to be coming back and everything, buy this game. Put your money where your mouth is.
And support the homie Ben Starr. Editor, put Ben Starr right on the screen.
Right there.
That guy is the fucking man.
Yes, he's awesome. He played Clive in Final Fantasy 16. He's one of the main characters in this upcoming game. Like the dude is he's a good actor. He's really good.
He's a nice guy too. He's like one of the nicest guys I've ever
our own
met.
little Bobby actually met him at the Game Awards, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I talked to him about Final Fantasy VIII for like 10 minutes. And he's just so hyped about it. And I was like, this man is nerding out with me right now. And it's really fucking cool.
Well, the dude's just a gamer in general, right? I mean, like the guy who talk about games back when we were growing up and everything, when he was growing up, obviously. The dude cosplays as Tifa from Final Fantasy VII sometimes. Like the dude is like he's got some good takes as well in terms of games. It's just like the dude's awesome. Like he just really is. I've never met him. If I get a chance to meet him at TGS here at the end of the month, like I'm gonna talk to him. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah, and his Twitter is hilarious. He's done videos with Ralph Ineson, just other actors and stuff. Like doing the guy who played Astarion, right? Asarian, excuse me. Yeah. He's just done all sorts of like shorts and skits with a bunch of other voice actors, and it's just great. That being said, about the game, what do we think about this game, guys?
I think it looks
cool.
Good. I think it looks really good. I mean, it kind of reminds me of, again, your typical turn-based RPG stuff, but it's using some of those mechanics even that we saw back in Mario RPG, if I remember correctly, where you can time blocks and dodges and everything. It's really going to keep you on your toes. It's going to keep you on your toes. I can tell you that much right now.
That's one of those things that is super engaging, and I'm so shocked that like RPGs just like don't use that like 90% of the time. It keeps you in the game so much more than just like, okay, let me hit like X to attack, and then go select this.
But
Like when you have to time stuff and when you have to actively think about what you're doing in the battle versus just like pressing, I don't know, it's turn based, but once Square introduced that in the 90s, that should have been like a thing everybody like puts in, and it's very rare that you see it. It's weird.
But RPG of the year, Yakuza 8 had that. How could you
That's
forget
true.
about
That's
RPG
true.
of the year?
That's
Yakuza
true.
8.
Yakuza 8 did go back.
It did.
Okay, and it's not.
I
It's
don't
not,
like
it's
it.
not
I don't
Yakuza 8.
like
It's Like a
dodging.
Dragon. Get the name right now, dude. Come on.
I think it's Yakuza Like a Dragon 8. I think it's still called Yakuza in the States.
Regardless, though, yeah, you are correct. Though they did go back to a turn-based style system, and I mean, if I remember correctly, the reviews for that game are extremely well. It sold really well and everything, so that's great. And that released at the end of January or something like that, where most times games don't do the greatest at that particular moment, but
Yeah, that was this year, right?
it was this year. Yeah, because
Yeah, I didn't.
because
I didn't
Lemon
play that
has
one,
been
but-
doing nothing but complaining about just these crazy RPGs coming out because he doesn't have any time to game and his backlog is so
Grows and grows.
what was it? You went straight from Like a Dragon 8 into a different game.
Final Fantasy.
No, I thought you went Persona then Final Fantasy.
No.
Or it was the other way around. Okay, regardless though. So you went Like a Dragon, Final Fantasy, Rebirth, then you went into Persona, and then you went into Shin Megami eventually. Like it wasn't back to back there, but that was your next RPG.
I feel like there's another. I feel there's another RPG I played.
I don't know. But
It's gonna
regardless,
kill me now.
you've been playing a ton of
Yeah.
RPGs this year,
Ton
and
of
you're just like,
RPGs this year.
they take forever.
Yeah, and I have too much. work to do.
That's the struggle of being a JRPG fan.
Exactly.
No, not even old. It's just a JRPG fan.
Well, no,
Yeah,
because
it's
like
JRPG.
back in the day, I could
Well, I
like
was-
summer
was gonna say,
break
when
and
you're-
stuff, just burn through them.
Yeah, when you're a teenager, but
Yeah.
they were also, you would be like, oh, this game's last forever. It's like 30 hours, and now it's like
Yeah.
Rebirth is like 150 hours.
I'm
you
not
know?
complaining. Rebirth was awesome.
Sure, but like at the same time, it's harder to keep up with. So like that's why
Yeah.
I have to be very selective with my JRPGs now because it's like I don't have as much time to do it, and I don't want to get into it and then stop. Like I've kind of like fallen off of Rebirth. Like I go into it like every week or two and play for like 4 or 5 hours, and then like I go back and because I'm just like I know this game has another 100 hours of shit to it. It's like, and I can't just like burn through it all at once. But at the same time,
sure.
I can't put it down because I keep wanting to play it. So I keep going back to it. But it's just like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like 45, 50 hours in now. Okay. I know I still got like 100 hours of shit to do in this game. All right. I'll come back to it like Wednesday or so, like.
Exactly.
And, yeah. And that's the struggle with JRPGs nowadays because all of them are great. But one thing I noticed about this is it looks like, I don't know, to me, it's like, Square made Persona.
No, I got one better.
Okay.
Remember Mistwalker, the Sakaguchi studio that did Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey?
Yeah.
It's giving me those vibes. It's this like modern kind of HD graphics with old school gameplay, and it's screaming that to me right now. It's like this just feels like what if Square Enix didn't go down the path of making action games? What if they stuck with a more tried and true RPG that wasn't cell shaded? It's a full on cool looking graphics kind of modern game. That's what I'm getting from this game.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping it delivers, because if it does, I'm hoping there'll be more games like it.
The thing that worries me about this, though, and I know it's early gameplay because, right, it is like Talon, you said it's coming out like a year, basically, right?
Sometime in 2025. We don't know exactly when it's going to be coming out, but it will be coming out in 2025.
Okay. So, like, let's say it comes out next year. Let's say it comes out third quarter, right?
Yeah, that's why I said August. I said give them an extra year, we'll be good to go.
Yeah, but right now everything's at 30 FPS, and maybe they're like, oh yeah, PS5 Pro to be 60. See, like this would make me upgrade to a PS5 Pro. They're like, you can run it on 60 on that. I'd be like, yeah, all right, you got me, you son of a bitch.
I mean, okay,
You know what I mean?
maybe again, I'm not a developer or anything, but I can't imagine they cannot get this game to 60 FPS.
Unreal 5 sucks, man.
I know it does. I know, but if they have a good, a performance mode, like they should be able to know.
So I'm just going to point out that you're effectively asking for double the amount of frames per second. Right?
I know,
Yeah.
but it's not 4K and yada yada, marketing, ray tracing. I know that stuff. But I mean, even Lemon and I were talking about this late earlier on in the week, where we're just like, you know what? It definitely, because again, this is when Wukong came out. Wukong, fun game, but clearly a lot of issues in terms of performance and some of the effects and everything, where it feels like UE5 was sold as like this, like, oh my god, big engine upgrades, you can transfer over from 4 no problem and all that stuff, and you'll be good to go. And then it's just kind of like, it's kind of been killing performance on, especially on consoles, but even on PCs and everything. So I mean, that's why when that whole interview came out with the leader of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and they're talking about maybe going to Unreal Engine 5 or staying on 4. I'm like, no, stay on 4. You guys have a ton of custom engine stuff with that engine. Do not go to 5.
Yeah,
it is going
to
absolutely wreck Part 3, and in the worst way possible. And, and I've even seen like videos from Digital Foundry saying, oh yeah, they should go to UE5. I'm like, dude, no, just don't do it.
I do want to point out that while Talon is talking about this, it looks like the character in the game that he's playing is like missing half the textures. I don't know if that's an outfit or something you're wearing.
I was gonna say it's looking rougher and rougher.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about with Unreal 5. It's just like everything looks pretty except the character looks like almost like it's mixing textures on the cloth that's on the left side. It's really weird. But Unreal 5 is this.
Let me kill these guys and we'll see real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if that's a costume, like that maybe it's like cell shaded look or something. I don't know, but that UE5 is just it's a monster. And one of the things to look forward to though is that frame generation. And obviously, we've heard PS5 Pro is gonna have that upscaling on its own.
Is it based off DLSS or is it based off of FS3 though?
It's custom, so you have to. Yeah, it would have to be based on FS3, but from my understanding, it's custom, and you got to understand Mark Cerny is disgustingly talented. So if he was the guy leading that, then I feel like it's going to be pretty solid. But the main thing is like, I'm playing First Descendant right now, and they added on PlayStation frame gen, right? And it looks pretty solid. So it runs at like 90 frames.
So is this, by the way, quick side note, this is the full costume I'm wearing with my character.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, like
looks like a PS4 game.
Yeah, on your left side, that polka dot whatever you're wearing looks like it's like missing. Like you got all the cool stuff like on your shoulder, right? There's a lot of texture, a lot of wrap on his staff, and his hair is going, and then it's like, oh, smooth cartoony cloth on the left.
This is what it's supposed to look like. So
yeah, see, like maybe it's the lighting. I don't know.
It's probably a combination of the lighting. So like there should be some scales that you see here, like you can see here. But if you go back in the game, you clearly don't see them. It just looks like a few dots every here and there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Granted, in performance mode, I know, but
textures. Yeah. That's what we're talking about with UE5 sucks.
Yep.
It's just, but the Clair Obscur, this overall looks like a great RPG.
It is. It's looking like a very, very good RPG. I will say though, for everyone who hasn't played a turn RPG in quite some time, don't expect it to be a 1-to-1 like back in the Final Fantasy 3 days or anything like that. There's as we stated before, and there's a lot of mechanics where it's still in real time. It's not press a button. Oh, I can put my controller down and go do this and everything. So sorry, Lemon, you can't deal with that stuff. So just realize it's not going to be exactly what you think. So it still looks really fun though. I'm not knocking it for that stuff. I'm just saying, if for any kind of old school gamers, just know that's
not going to be exactly the same thing. Yeah. Which, like I said, I personally enjoy when a game, because I like turn-based RPGs. They're fun, and like it does give you that really casual sense of like, okay, it starts battle, and I'm gonna go grab some water and just leave it there for my turn, right?
Right.
But like having something where it's like, okay, you got your turn, and if you don't attack, like the enemy might attack you, or you have to time things just right. Like all that stuff is engaging. Like it brings you further into the gameplay, and I think just more turn-based RPGs need to do that. Even Sea of Stars did that. They added that timing thing, which is really cool.
Yeah. So and it seems like they're innovating on certain things that you can do with it, right? Well, I mean, like, because in the gameplay they showed, like either perfect dodging or blocking and everything, right? Depending. And again, this is something we saw back in like Mario RPG and everything like that. So again, it's taking a concept that people like, but they're innovating on it. So just don't expect it to be some kind of one-to-one thing, and then.
Man, I'm watching this trailer again. It's just gorgeous.
It is. It looks really good. So just get the 60 FPS. That's all I'm gonna say. But again, I know it's UE5.
It's a JRPG. Well, it's JRPG, turn-based RPG. You don't need. Be happy with 30. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh my god, he sounds like the developer of Avowed.
I know, right?
It's cinematic.
I mean,
no, I think you'll
hit 60 on PC at least.
You know, they could have it be where it's got like a 40 FPS, which I'm okay. Like with this game, I'd be okay with that if they had a 40 FPS like quality mode. You know, if you've got 120 hertz TV, I'd be good with that in this game. Something like Horizon or Spider-Man, I don't really care for that, but this, yeah, I think I could deal. You know,
right?
Especially with the FSR3 coming to more and more games, which is very cool. Like,
because if I remember correctly, FSR2 is not exactly the greatest thing. It's kind of
no, but FSR3 is really good. It's not as good as the LSS, but it's really good. And then their frame gen is the big thing that's coming to consoles now,
right?
Which is nutty. So if they have that and they go, hey, we're using frame gen to lock you in at like 40, like I'm chef's kiss on that. I can deal with that. I think it would look fantastic. Keep all the bells and whistles, and then give me those extra 10 frames that help me deal with the motion sickness.
I'll definitely say so. But Lemon, I mean, are you excited for this game? You can be picking up day one. I know you're a big RPG guy, as we've stated many times.
Down what day one? I mean, probably. All right. The question shouldn't be, am I picking up day one? Is the question, am I going to start playing it day one?
Okay, are you going to start playing it day one? I buy
all kinds of games that are still in the shrink wrap.
And you're going to play them?
The reviews are good. The reviews are solid. And I'm not in the middle of something else. Yeah, probably. I like the aesthetic. I like the art style. I was like a good RPG. It seemed like an interesting idea. It seemed pretty novel. So I mean, I'm definitely interested. It's definitely on my list of games to watch. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm just hoping that they stick the landing because the trailers are pretty cool.
I hope so too. I mean, again, it's to show gameplay, the pure raw gameplay right now. That's obviously really good. And the Twitter clips that you'll see and everything, those are obviously compressed, typical Twitter or even YouTube stuff. But again, if you can hit performance, then I think they've got a winner on their hands. I think old school gamers need to realize it is not going to be press a button and then you can wait for an hour as you try to calculate your turn or something like that. There's going to be there's real-time stuff to it. There's things like dodging and everything in terms of where, again, if you've seen the gameplay, you have to time your button presses correctly. You've got to make sure it's the correct moves and stances and all that. So you're not moving, but you still have to pay attention. So just keep that in mind. Awesome. Got that. Lemon, should you be getting into bed now?
Yeah. I was about to say, I was waiting for that pause.
Yep. I got the pause and I did that. So.
Friggin' jobs, man.
My day.
The holiday weekend, Lemon, call out.
I know.
Hang out with us.
Wait, what? Oh,
tell him it's America Day on Monday.
America Day.
It's Labor's birthday on Monday, and you need the days off.
God knows, I need to. All right, my dudes. I'll see you guys around.
All right, take it easy, man. Was there anything else we needed to cover? We got the console stuff down. We got Expedition. We even talked about Concord and the was it Japan studios and whatnot.
We can talk about Avowed and Indie if you want to.
Yeah,
that's
we could talk about that if we wanted to. Yeah,
that's up to you, man. I did that discussion with Will, and he was like, "Yeah, it's fine." And I'm like, hey, if you like that, that's cool. It is good to have an Xbox console person to talk about that stuff.
Oh yeah, with. you guys covered that with the Gamescom.
Yeah, with the Indiana Jones announcement.
Okay, so we technically covered it.
Okay. Yeah, so then that's what I was saying. Like, if you want to, we can. But
when I saw, I will just say this. I'll make a quick story about this. When I heard that, and I get it. I know the performance is the final thing you deal with. I totally get that. That's not an unheard of thing. I honestly just rolled my eyes though, because I'm just like, really, like like I just go back to strongest console, and you can't hit 60 in this game, where like he's saying like, oh yeah, it allows us to do like this crazy extra stuff and everything with the effects, and I'm looking at it going, I mean, the game looks good, but is it really doing anything particularly crazy? Like it just,
yeah, I still say it doesn't look as good as Horizon, so you have no excuse.
yeah, I mean, heck, if you want, well, yeah, I mean, like honestly, like I think Horizon looks better. I think God of War looks better. I think, heck, Hellblade looks better. And I know that's way different tech and everything like that, but I still think it looks better.
Hellblade is 30 though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
On consoles, yeah.
Right, for that, yeah. I think, heck, the Forza games look way better than that, in my personal opinion. I will say the art looks good. The art looks good. I'll definitely say that. But in terms of a graphic fidelity,
I guess that's true. But you got to understand with the art style, right? Like in Forza, you're making roads and like bushes.
Right, exactly. I know.
You know,
but it still looks crazy good.
Versus making like a lot of those, a lot of the things in Avowed look really cool, like the environments and stuff. The combat still looks awful. Like it looks so awful. Like,
aren't they doing a third person option? I thought, or they're going to add that in or something.
They are, but like I would want to see it because in the first person it just looks like it has no weight to anything.
Right.
It looks like they're still using like Skyrim combat from how long has Skyrim been out? Like
20 years.
10? No, it's like 13 years, right? When the 2011 Skyrim.
20. It's gonna be 2025 when this game comes out, so 15 years basically, give or take.
Yeah, so like I don't know. It's a weird thing that, I know it's Obsidian, they're not a huge studio, but they're trying to do something pretty big, and to me it's not landing like I would want it to land, but I still want to check it out.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff when it comes to this particular game. So like something is shown off, and then it's either delayed or something drastically gets changed, right? Like the very first trailer we saw was like this kind of dark, gritty setting to it and everything. And everyone was like, oh, we kind of like it and everything. And then it changed, or I guess it was that technically. I don't know if it technically changed, but all of a sudden it's this more bright, vibrant, which is fine. I'm not saying that's bad or anything. But then everyone was just railing against the gameplay. And then all of a sudden it's delayed by almost a year, give or take. Yeah. Because apparently they're trying to tune up the gameplay and everything like that. And now they're in the news for all the wrong reasons again about frame rates and everything like that. Right? Like it's just like, I don't know. And this game is supposed to launch in February, if I remember correctly, right? Dude, based on that big picture of all the Xbox games, it's supposed to release in February. I
think it is, yeah.
So I do wonder if it's gonna be. It also depends on what just comes out during February. Is it gonna be lost in whatever else is coming out during that time, right? Because generally, February is a big month for games.
Yeah, the last 3 years, February has been one of the heaviest hitter months. Yeah. So if they're gonna release it,
you either have to release it at the very beginning of February, to try and catch everyone being like, all right, February's here, let's do this, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's there, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the only time you can release it, because if you release it mid or late February, especially, let's just say, for example, Expedition 33 comes out in February somehow. I don't think it should. I think it should come out a little later, give himself plenty of time. But let's just say, for example, it did throw on something announced from the Sony State of Play that's rumored to be happening in September.
Yep.
And throw in a Nintendo game. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Avowed. It really is. I want them to do well. Obsidian's always been good, but it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with it. That's all I'm going to say. I know Xbox doesn't, care about, quote unquote, care about sales or anything. They more care about subscriber numbers and how many people play it and everything like that. But we'll probably see it on PlayStation eventually, especially if it doesn't sell well.
Well, what I'm seeing, I don't even think it's a thing about selling well. I think it's coming out February 18th, and I guarantee you by August it'll be on PlayStation.
Oh man, February 18th. That's the middle of February, man. That's always a rough month.
right before that, and this is just like you said, stuff that we know. Civilization 7, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a week before that. And then in terms of its same realm, there's another game coming out right after called Dragonkin the Banished. It's an action role playing. Tales of Iron 2. That's a side-scrolling action. But yeah, there's a couple action role-playing games, Kingdom Come and Dragonkin the Banished, both coming out right around Avowed.
Right.
So it's like, ugh, you got some competition right there.
You've already got competition. I mean, if we even go back, what, 2022, right? That's when like you had both Horizon and Elden Ring at that time releasing. That was only two games. That was only 2 games, and there were still a ton of other games that were released during that time.
And everybody just waited for Elden Ring.
Right, exactly.
Like, everyone was like,
exactly. Yeah. But even if we look at 2024, this year, right? We had things like Persona 3 Reload. We had Helldivers 2, which took off, which no one expected, but it still took off. And a lot of people bought that and everything like that, right? You obviously had Rebirth and everything. You had the Tomb Raider remastered games. You had the Legend of Heroes Trails through Daybreak, which was a Switch game, which a lot of people were really into and everything like that. What else? Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Say what you will about it. Still sold well. Still did really well and everything like that. Let's see.
Well, if we're going with that, like if we look at January, Donkey Kong Country Returns comes out in January, and Tales of Grace F Remastered.
Yeah, let's see games 2025 that we know of so far.
And then Adamfall comes out in March, and Suikoden comes out in March.
And that's another thing you have to also keep in mind is that if something comes out in the month after February, someone might buy a game or try a game out in early February, but then they wait in late February until that March game release, right? So as of right now, with February, we've got Civilization 7, Kingdom Come, Phantom Breaker, Avowed, Lost Records, Sea Fantasy, Tales of Iron 2, and I'm sure there's going to be more on that list. I guarantee you. Plus, you also have to remember what potentially happens if we get an actual release date before Avowed releases or any February game, and we see GTA 6 or Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter comes out in February. It's Avowed's done.
Avowed's dead. Any game in February, I will state it right here. Any game in February is dead if Monster Hunter's put there. If I take a guess,
I guarantee we see it delayed again.
I could see it being delayed or released in March. That's my guess. I'm going to be trying it out at TGS, so I'll let you know how it feels. But if Monster Hunter gets announced for like February, March, oh boy, you're done. There is no competition. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, if it imagine Avowed comes out and then people just see March 3rd is
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter. They'll just wait.
Yeah.
They'll wait and go I'm gonna replay Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter World.
Yeah,
just to get back.
Or
into it.
or whatever game you got in January potentially, right? Let's just insert game here you bought for January, or you didn't even buy anything for January. Like, dude, I got some games left over from Christmas. I'm gonna play these, relax a bit, save some money. Boom, Monster Hunter drops.
Yep.
That's especially what we talked about earlier within this stream and everything. If with the way prices are with consoles and games and everything like that, guess what? Just the way it is. And no one's gonna be signing up for even signing up for something like Game Pass when day one is only for the Ultimate Edition, right? So and that includes Avowed. And if I remember correctly, the statement that they made was the first party games will not be on the lower levels of Game Pass. I believe it was 12 months or more or something like that.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I realized the other day. I was like, wait, so if you're on Game Pass console, Game Pass standard, whatever it's called now, the new one, and that's all you've got. You don't have a PC, you don't have a PlayStation. There are likely going to be PlayStation players playing Indiana Jones before you do.
Yeah, if you are not buying games and you're just doing, because let's be perfectly honest, like Game Pass Standard or whatever that new tier is called now, that's literally online play and older games that you can play, right? Yeah. It doesn't include anything new. So even if you're not buying anything new, or you buy maybe a game once every few months, totally fine. I do the same for the most part. Yeah, PlayStation 5 players are going to be playing your before exclusive game before you can on Game Pass.
That's just so wild to me.
That is wild to even just to say that.
Yeah, it's just, that feels weird. Like,
That's really weird to say. I'm not gonna. Oh man. I don't know if you saw it, but I like watching Skill Up's weekly news videos, even though a lot of the news is late and everything. And he brought up that whole Phil Spencer interview and everything like that. He's like, Phil, let me just say it for you. I know it's hard to say. We're going full third party, and all our games are going to be everywhere. See, that wasn't so hard. I was just like, yeah.
That's the thing, man. Is like, I wouldn't have a problem with it. It's like, just fucking do it. Like, you got everyone going like, what the fuck is going on with Xbox? Like, what is happening? Like, okay, Doom is coming out day and date on PlayStation, and Indiana Jones is delayed, and then Starfield's not on PlayStation. And then, but like Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation, and then, it's like, it's just so weird. Like, it's just that the whole thing feels off, and it feels like they're trying very slowly to acclimate people. And I feel like the Band-Aid rip moment was Gamescom, having Jeff go, oh, and there's one more thing.
Oh yeah, that kind of was the.
And then they bring up the PlayStation, the PS5 logo, and it's a spring 2020. And I was like, holy shit. That's
very soon. I was very surprised to see that.
You know what's crazy too? I rewatched that earlier, and I was like, it's really fucked up. This crowd cheered when they said, hey, December 9th, 2024. And then the crowd cheered louder when it was
announced on PS5. I remember that, yeah.
And I was like, oh, dude. Like, I think my favorite thing was seeing the tweet that was like, I'm like 5 seats away from Phil Spencer, and he looked like the Homelander watching the screen meme.
Briefly saw that. Yeah, I was like, damn, that's gotta hurt.
And
I think if
with
Phil
Phil
had
Spencer's face.
I think if Phil had his way, he'd still keep everything.
Oh yeah, he absolutely would. But he went asking for $70 billion fucking dollars.
Yep.
Like it comes back down to like, oh yeah, if we're giving you like, $2-3 billion a year, Phil, like we're Microsoft, that's
not
nothing
terrible.
for
That's
us.
not terrible for them. Yeah.
But you come at us in less than 5 years,
70.
asking us for like $100 billion over 5 years.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like we got to sit up and pay attention, because our shareholders are going to ask, what the fuck is happening with this money? Where's this money going? We want a return on this because we're the ones who give you money. That's the name of the game, right? And then Satya sees that and goes, well, they tied my, because we gave them all this money, they tied my bonus to how Xbox is doing. So we're going to do things my way. And boom, now you're in the situation they're in, where Phil doesn't seem like he really has control.
Oh, it's Microsoft Gaming. It's Microsoft Gaming now.
Yeah, and he feels like he's got to be the guy who's like, oh, no, actually, like, we're doing this for our Xbox gamers. He's like, dude, come on, man. Like, be real. Just be real about it. Come on. I wish I could get Phil in the room. Just like, dude, come on. Take a seat, Phil. Take a seat.
Come on, Phil.
Not like that, chat, but just like dude, just be real with me. Have a beer with me, Phil. Tell me what's going on. And he'd be like, yeah, Satya kicked my ass. I'm just trying to keep that $10 million a year coming in until they let me go. Like, and it's like we talked about Jim Ryan probably got fired because this whole live service thing is
Jim Ryan got fired. Jim Ryan got fired.
Yeah, like the whole live service thing is seeming like a colossal fucking mistake right now. Like Helldivers did great, and everyone's like, oh man, maybe Sony can pull this off, and then Concord is the biggest bomb of all time. Like, holy shit. At least the biggest bomb that we can see, like, publicly, right? And while it's not doing great on PlayStation, it's still selling some. Like, Steam has sold nothing.
Steam has sold nothing. But I mean, didn't we kind of call that? We're just like, this is going to be the opposite of Helldivers, where this will probably do decent on PlayStation.
Yes. And that's what's happening. It's not doing great, but it's at least doing semi-decent on PlayStation. And I honestly, give me like 2 years with the game, and like at a point you're gonna have to like make sure that people like can't turn off crossplay, because if The PlayStation players just like, oh, we don't want to play against PC. There's 150 people on PC. Come on, like those people never be able to play the game unless they turn on.
I don't know if you're looking at my stream at the stream right now, but
I am.
Oh my gosh.
Have fun.
Oh god. Are my abilities at least recharged back? Nope. I'm gonna wait for my transformation to charge back up.
It's literally me and Concord when I'm waiting for it to get. I hear the whole team, the whole enemy team around the corner. I'm like, all right, let me wait for my abilities at least to have a shot, get a throwing knife back or something.
Exactly.
But yeah, like I don't know. It's wild with Xbox how things are turning out. Like man, like cool. Like if they straight up said, hey, we're going third party. Right. Yeah. We're going to make hardware so you can have a console with Game Pass. We're going to make it as strong as we can. We still want to be like an industry, have a footprint in the console industry and give you powerful hardware that runs the games as well as we possibly can do it. Cool. That'll be your Game Pass box. Like that's what the console gets you is Game Pass, right? You can have Game Pass Ultimate on a console because you're not going to get that on PlayStation. Right. But as a PlayStation owner, if they go, hey, we're going to put Master Chief Collection, which has been a rumor lately that they are prepping Forza Master Chief and Starfield.
I could see it.
Like, I'm giving you money for Master Chief. If Starfield's DLC is good and they make actual, like, content, which I've heard they're making, like, it's focused around one planet and it's, like, really deep content, like a Fallout DLC, I'm like, you could get my money for that if you sell, like, the definitive edition for PlayStation for, like, $70. And that's sort of content comes out and you keep updating and making, like, more actual handcrafted content. Because, like, Starfield, like, has its issues, but if they put time into developing things more, and not making every planet like just so boring, like that's a big part. It's like Fallout, I was like, man, I could just explore and then I'll find some shit and I'll find like notes in there, and like tells a cool story about something I found in like another town or another settlement somewhere. Starfield's like got none of that. It's just, it doesn't feel good. Like there are some things, but it's like only in places where you like have to go for a story do you find, lore stuff. When it's exploring, it's like, oh, I find some guns and like whatever. Like, it doesn't feel good. I don't know. That's just me personally. But if you do that, where you get me excited about the missions and the story and stuff, like through one planet, like I'm down.
Well,
like,
that DLC might
really good.
DLC might do that. So
that's what I'm saying. Like if they do that, then like, and you bring it to PlayStation, like. Those games are like, everyone's like, you gotta play Fallout with mods and stuff. Like, I'm just so totally cool with chilling with a controller and just like losing myself in Fallout on my TV. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like Fallout 4, I played the next gen update and I was like, this is just awesome to just straight up, go in and just kind of like veg out and vibe and just play some, Fallout, like explore the Commonwealth in Fallout 4. It's like fun time, Like I don't need all the mods. Like the mods would be cool, but it's like sometimes I just want to kick back, and that's one of those games that's a kickback game for me,
Right. Yep.
Like, I'm never gonna take it too seriously. I can still put a lot of hours into it, but I don't need mods. I don't need it to be super serious. Man, good job, Talon. Those bosses.
Not really bosses, but yeah.
But yeah, you do that and like you might get my money, but just be real about it. Be like, hey, Mark, even if you're trying to like PR it up, like market realities mean that we have to kind of bring our games to more places, to make sure for the health of Xbox that we can sustain this whole thing. Cool. That means for me, I'm not going to buy an Xbox because I will just buy a game if I want it. I don't mind later down the line waiting for a sale, right? If they bring, and like think about this, they go, oh, Starfield Definitive Edition. Even if they take like a year, they do that, right? And you got like 2 or 3 DLCs, and I pay $70 for a Definitive Edition. And they go, okay, we're gonna keep making content, and you'd have to pay extra for that. I go, okay, these DLCs are good. I paid $70 for all that, where other people had to pay $100. I've got
definitely more if you got early access.
Yeah, well, no, I think it was $100 for the early access one. you get that, and then the season pass, right? Like, but you get all that, cool, and then we're gonna keep updating it, keep making DLC, keep making improvements to whatever. Very nice, very nice. Like, I'm down to give you money for that. If it comes down to Doom, maybe I'll buy Doom. Because I know that's coming to PlayStation. Halo, if you bring Halo Master Chief Collection, I am buying that day one. You go, oh, it's $60. I'm still buying it. I don't care. Like that. I'm down with having Halo. Like, and I'm sure, like, my brothers would buy Forza, or at least Chin would. Chin would buy Forza.
I can see Chin buying Forza, yeah.
Yeah, he likes racing games, and Forza. I mean, Forza, for everything I've heard, is a really good racing game. I haven't played it, but I've heard. I want to play Forza 4 because I heard it's the best one, but they're delisting it. So
were they giving it away for some time?
They did if you bought the DLC. Like if you played it on Game Pass and bought DLC, then they gave you a copy because they're like, oh, you already bought stuff for it, so we're gonna give you a copy to keep. Because they're taking it off Game Pass too. From my.
Oh, they're taking it off Game Pass.
Yeah, well, they're delisting the whole thing. That's why. So, it has to do with licenses. That's what it always is with racing games. They lose the licenses to the cars or the music or something.
It's not just racing games. It's anything that has to do with music sometimes. I mean, like, everyone wonders why they haven't done more Rock Band stuff or anything like that. I'm like, music license. That's why.
Yep. Those music, like, you have any idea how much Rock Band games cost?
A lot.
Yeah, especially when you do it with, like,
alone.
Like when they did the Beatles, like that was my favorite rock band because I'm such an old dude and I love the Beatles, but like they did, I guarantee you they paid a fuck ton of money just for the royalties all this tune or the license all this tune.
Easily, yeah.
Right. And then they did like Aerosmith and Metallica. Those are not like and then Green Day, like those are bands that make a lot of money. So
Green Day to this day still makes a ton of money.
Yeah, well, could you imagine if the Beatles are still around? These guys would be charging more than Taylor Swift for tickets, like $10,000 for nosebleeds to see the Beatles, but like, yeah, you see those kind of games, and with cars it's worse because they have to get the license to the music and the cars.
Yeah.
So like you're buying a license
if
to
I
like a 2000.
remember correctly, even like Need for Speed has had issues with the licensing and everything with cars. Mm-hmm. That's Need for Speed. Like that's been around forever.
Yeah, and that's just the reality of those racing games. That's why you see so many racing games all the time just go off the market, like they just disappear because they're running out of the license. So like, oh, we don't want to pay for this shit again to like make we're not making money really off the game anymore. Which what's happening? Forza 4 is like what, 4 or 5 years old now?
I think so. Yeah, sounds about right.
And so they're going, okay, well, it might be a little older than that, but they're like, oh, well, we're not really getting sales on this anymore. Like we sell, 1,500 copies a year at a discounted rate, so we might as well just not pay the license because we're not making the money back anymore.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, it's just how it goes with racers, unfortunately.
Well, then what was that Ubisoft one that got canceled? Completely. The Crew, if I remember correctly? Did that?
Yeah, well, that got taken from from people's
accounts and everything. Yeah.
Accounts, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a double burner. So it got not only to get taken from your account, but most likely the licensing was probably also an issue. No, I would imagine. So.
Yeah. That's probably what it was. Is that they ran out of the licensing for everything, and I'm like, okay, well, we're just gonna take it from people so they can't play it at all, which is weird. I don't know why you do that, but it's season 1 of The First Ascendant. I should start playing that again. It's a good game.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who's playing is enjoying it. So
it's a good game. It's like you got to understand. It's like a Warframe. It's just literally they tell you can grind for this here. Good luck.
I don't have time to be jumping into a live service game right now with all the stuff I'm trying to do right now.
I know. That's even me. Like I've been trying, but I'm like, I can't spend too much time on this.
I gotta finish this, and then which is still gonna take me a while. And then we still have Visions of Mana, which I messaged you about earlier.
Yeah,
and
you
then
have
we got
TGS.
Astro Bot coming up next week.
Yeah. Yep.
And then after that, probably something. And then after that, there's TGS for me and Zelda for you.
Yep.
Ages ago, Jinjanza and I were
Zelda's the week of my birthday too, and I'm playing Plucky Squire. I don't give a shit.
Oh, that's the middle of September game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the 17th.
Yep.
Thankfully, that comes out on PS Plus Extra, so I'm gonna play it there. I'm still probably gonna buy it, but right now, just with the
Well,
hold up
you actually know what I'm going to probably doing mid-September is the Castlevania game that we just got.
Oh yeah.
I loved. Those are my first Castlevania games. The Dawn of Sorrow or Errors of Sorrow, if that's one of them. Portrait Ruin, I loved. Absolutely loved that game. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
But there's just so much out.
so much is happening between now and like December. Basically, from here to Indiana Jones is like almost nonstop. Every week or two, there's some.
And I'm sorry,
something
Indiana,
coming out.
and I know some people might be saying that we're Sony ponies and everything. It's like, look, I play all the games, but I will admit, Indiana Jones probably gonna be a wait for me, just because of.
I'll probably check it out because like I love Indiana Jones, and like the more I saw of it now, I'm like, okay, I'm getting used to it being first person. I still don't like it, but I'm getting used to it, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's it's Game Pass. You just sign up for PC Game Pass, or be like me and get it from CD Keys for like $8-9.
Oh God, I gotta fight this guy.
I have an ad, so I'm on the Twitch page. Chat, if you're there, make sure to go to the Twitch and make sure to go to the Twitch and get that Game Pass code if you've never had Game Pass.
Am I fighting the big Buddha?
That do be a big Buddha.
He's called the Buddha of the Future, or AKA Yellow Brow. Ow, okay, that's a ring I gotta jump over. Got it.
Yeah, so the projections for this are what, like 80-20? Like China to the rest of the world, right?
Yeah,
it's
something
like 80%
like that, yeah.
of sales are in China. That's nuts. And you know what? I guarantee you now, after this, if this causes a shift in the game industry, it's literally just going to be that there's going to be so many more games catered to Chinese audiences.
Well, that whole there's some kind of big project thing going on right now. There's 6 other games coming out from China in the next year or two.
Yeah, well, I know Sony's got, what is it, Project Multi or whatever?
There's Project
that they're
Multi.
working
They've
on.
got the Phantom Blade. Is it called?
Phantom Blade Zero, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Sony's whole thing it's called Project Multi, where they're trying to get in. I think you mentioned it earlier. They're trying to get in with China,
Which makes sense. I mean, because you can get a PlayStation account over there and everything. And everyone always brings up the whole 170 countries that you can't buy Sony games on PC because you need a PSN. But you can't create a PSN. So and a lot of that is more due to the fact that a lot of those countries have restrictions that Sony doesn't want to deal with, which their choice to do it. But they've got more accounts with China, so.
yeah, that's one of those things that it's people don't understand. Like when they go, oh, they're censoring the MCU, blah blah. It's like, yeah, you know how much money you lose if you don't take China into account.
Yeah, if you don't take China into account, that's.
It is what it is. That's business. Like, you're not going to throw away that much money because you get banned in China. Sorry. Nope. That's a business reality that we have to deal with. Like, I don't like it, but that's just a business reality that we as gamers or people who are fans of movies or whatever, we have to learn to deal with. It's just that they are going to take China into account.
Oh yeah, they always are. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a fuckload of money that they're going to lose if they don't. Your little rock guy is very slow for this fight, it seems, Talon.
Yeah, but he negates all that damage and he deals a decent amount to the boss. So
he do be negating. God damn, you do some damage. I saw that. Woo. Yeah. Anyway, we were talking about Xbox, the whole third-party thing. Like, tell me Halo's coming. I'll buy it. You know, maybe I'll buy Indiana Jones if I really like it on Game Pass. And the thing that would be nice is like, you're getting my money.
Oh, that's the thing. Like, the more, well, because what was it? Sea of Thieves was doing really well on PlayStation. Like, it sold over 1 million already.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise. It's like a $40 thing.
Oh shit, that killed me.
Oh no, I'm a few seconds behind. So, yeah, I seen it.
Oh my god, that was my fault. I thought I could dodge behind that.
One thing we do have to talk about, Talon, is the guy on our thumbnail that says fired.
Oh. Well, perfect time then. I guess 9 worked out pretty well then.
We'll kind of take it down. This is a serious topic.
Okay, so let me bring up the article so I know exactly. Because we gotta talk about this for a second, chat. Let me at least get the basic information going, and we can go from there. So. Jason should tweet. He's the one who made the article, right?
Yeah, Jason Schreier.
There he is. We're following him. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, okay. So for those of you who don't know or haven't heard about this, because I swear Bungie is in just hot water every single week when it comes to this type of stuff. But the top director at Bungie was fired after misconduct investigation, meaning they had the investigation already and they found evidence and let him go. Like, that's, damn, that is big. So just quick basic, summary of this essentially, right? So Chris, if I remember correctly, is his name, Chris Barrett, one of the top executives at one of video games industry's leading studios, was fired this spring after he was accused by several female employees of inappropriate behavior, according to people familiar with the matter. He's been with Bungie back in 1999. He's the head right now or he was the head of Marathon up until last year, and then that's where that whole big shift change came when it came to it being an extraction shooter, but now it's like a hero extraction shooter. At least that's what the rumors are saying. So the dude's been around a while. He's worked on and directed with Halo and Destiny franchises and all that stuff. And now he's in some pretty hot water. Apparently there was a statement where Barrett did say he, quote, never understood my communications to be unwanted, and I would have never thought they were possibly have made anyone feel uncomfortable. Yeah, like I'm watching a movie from like the 80s or 90s, but sure.
That's bullshit. I'm sorry for using the language. I want to call it what it is, because it's very, yeah. So apparently the investigation found that Barrett called low-level female employees attractive, then asked them to play truth or dare, and made references to his wealth and power within the studio, suggesting that he could help advance their careers, according to two people familiar with the case. That's two people familiar with the case on top of the female employees that said this stuff. In a statement to Bloomberg News, Barrett said that throughout nearly 25 years of Bungie, this quote right here, I feel I have always conducted myself with integrity and been respectful and supportive of my colleagues, many of whom I consider my closest friends. I've never understood my communications to be unwanted, and I would have never thought that it would possibly be made anyone feel uncomfortable. If anyone ever felt that way about their interactions with me, I am truly sorry. Sony Interactive Entertainment, Bungie's partner company, probably soon to just gobble them up essentially at this point, would not comment on the case, but a spokesman said the company takes all complaints of misconduct very seriously. It was our policy and practice to investigate every complaint promptly and take action on the findings of the investigation. So again, complaints came, they had an investigation, they looked at the facts and everything, cut them loose. That's what happened. And apparently this has been known. Like he and I think his wife were expecting this. Like they knew this was happening. Like this article was going to be coming out and exposing all this. Oh yeah, I mean, if they got the comment from him,
yeah,
then yeah, they knew.
Yeah, they absolutely knew. So and then it goes into the rest of the article kind of goes more into the whole Sony buying these guys for $3.6 billion, which I still think is one of that's probably Sony's biggest flop right there, which goes into my tinfoil hat, which probably has more, I know it's tinfoil still, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's true, where Jim Ryan was basically, he was fired for spending all this crazy amounts of money, and Sony was like, back it up there, bud. I mean, heck, the COO of Sony is a huge numbers guy, and if that dude sees numbers starting to go down, he's coming for your ass, essentially, right? So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that Sony would take this serious. It shows that what happens behind doors and what the public sees is rarely the same thing, unfortunately. Bobby, I know you've got some comments about this. What are your overall just thoughts on this? Besides, obviously, the big obvious saying, yeah, it's shitty. What are your thoughts on all this?
First thing, like gentlemen out there, just act right. Yeah. Come on now. Like, that's the first thing. And then secondly, this is like actually heartbreaking because I'm trying to think. For years, I have been like, Chris Barrett is the guy, you know. He made Rise of Iron, which is my favorite Destiny 1 expansion, and he made Forsaken, which is right. He was up until recently was like the best Destiny 2 expansion. And like I was like, this guy is he's the money. He just does the thing every time. He puts out the stuff that's just great. And then I heard he's going to Marathon. I was like, okay, maybe Marathon will be good. I wish he was still on Destiny because I loved his work there, but maybe they're trying to give him like a creative director job because he's earned it, right?
Right.
It felt weird because he did a lot of the PvE work and stuff, right? So to go to PvP, it was like very strange. But that all being said, this is very uncool. Like, and this is one of those things where you see this over and over and over, right? And it happened at Activision, and now it's happening at Bungie, and it's just terrible to see. And it's more bad news for Bungie, who's already just struggle bussing it through this year and last year. It's worse news for Sony, which is not getting great PR right now with Concord and now all eyes are going to be on Fair Games, right?
Oh god, Fair Games is going to fail. I already know it's going to fail.
Well, we don't know, because it could be something where people like look at it and go, actually, that looks pretty cool. It just depends. Like, nobody thought Helldivers was going to be the success that it was. Like, I saw it, I was like, okay, like, whatever is that? All right, yeah, whatever. That looks like a game, I guess, if it's a live service. And then it came out, I was like, oh, this is actually really fun, until they started nerfing everything. But then, like, Sony's just, I would say Sony's in as rough, if not a rougher spot than Xbox right now.
I'd say
they're having real high profile failures, and this is just not going to help that. Now, I do want to say, right, there was a whole controversy a while back with Christopher Barrett and his wife, and that what's the name, Upper Echelon Gaming.
No, I thought it was Say No to Rage or whatever.
That was a whole different thing. That was their thing, right? She went on a whole thing about him because he was acting inappropriately
at a TwitchCon or something like that. Which, shocker,
TwitchCon or something
happens with a TwitchCon.
Yeah, people get like, they drink and party and then people act stupid, like, that happens. But the other thing was that I think Upper Echelon made videos about that whole situation.
He did, yeah.
And then she got the Bungie legal team on him.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
That was like, man, that's very uncool. Like, that's absolutely abusing like your position, like as the wife of a dude with a lot of power in that company. Mm-hmm. And then now you see today she deleted her Twitter account like immediately. And I know why, because there's no end of harassment that she would have received today. Like, it would not have stopped, and it probably wouldn't have stopped for weeks, if not months. And what all the stuff with like was a Say No to Rage aside, right? The weirdest thing is like they were saying all that stuff about him, right? And you know, I think he copped to it. He said, "Oh yeah, like I did say stuff that wasn't cool," and
Right.
you know, but she went on a whole thing when her damn husband was doing the same thing to people. And it was worse, in my opinion, it was worse because he was in a position of power over them. Whereas, like, from my understanding, Say No to Rage was, he was just kind of like a dude trying to flirt with girls awkwardly. And that's uncool. You know, that's just because I think he was married, right?
Yeah, he's still married, I think.
Yeah, uncool, right? But, you know, it's acting stupid, acting out, whatever. But, like, when you're in a position of power, and to abuse that is really uncool. Because then those women really feel forced to do it. You know what I mean? Or forced to like bend to your will because you're a very powerful person in that company. That's to me, that's just super gross, you know. Like, we got to be better than that, gentlemen. You know, like, you know, I'm not talking to you, Talon. I know you're a stand-up dude, but like, if you're someone who gets the idea, like, oh, well, I have power over these people, I should like exploit them. Like, that's not cool.
It's not even just having power. It's just being a decent human being.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is like it's uncool in general, right? Because you want to be like it's a stand-up person, but then on top of that, you know. It makes it like it's you know, maybe it's because like I have those relationships with a lot of people where, you know, I'm a teacher, so I'm like an authority figure, like an expertise figure, right? And you have the same thing, right?
Right. Yeah. No, exactly.
You know, but my students some of my students are adults, you know, and I've had students who are adult women who've been like, hey, do you know, you want to get lunch or something if you have a break? And I go, not going to do that. Sorry. You know, and it's, you know, it's nothing personal, but it's just, it's that I have that position and that role with them.
Yep.
And I'm not going to cross that line. Like, it's how it goes. Right. So seeing this, it just makes me disappointed because it was a guy who I really did like and I really thought was, you know, had some sauce in terms of his talent, you know, as a director on projects and stuff, but it's absolutely just weird and unacceptable. And again, makes things worse for Bungie, who just seems like they cannot get out of the bad news, cycle right now. And then Sony too, like they get this like the week after everyone's like Concord's the worst launch of all time. It's like, whew, man. And then you see Xbox going third party. Nintendo's just like, hey, we're chill. Yeah, we'll tell you about the new Switch when we want to. It's not going to be today though.
I did find it a little funny how they were like, oh yeah, at an indie partners direct, there's not going to be no Switch 2 announcements. Like, just expect an indie partner thing to show off the Switch 2.
The best one was when they announced the museum direct and they were like, there will be no mention of the Switch successor today.
God.
Oh, like, who's going to watch the
definition of a
Nintendo?
museum? The literal definition of a museum.
Who's watching the Nintendo museum direct going like, all right, this is where they're going to show the Switch 2 right here.
Yep.
Talking about the history of every Nintendo console. This has got to be where they're talking about the future too. It's like, ugh. But yeah, it's just, you know, game industry has a lot of this behavior, right? It's come out like we said, Activision is especially Activision / Blizzard, especially notable for having some really gross behavior in the past decade. And seeing it in Bungie, which Bungie just like I always thought was such a cool company, and then seeing so many people who work there now going like, yeah, actually, like we were trying to keep morale up, but it was pretty shit. You know, like that sucks, man. Because I wanted to work for. I mean, I think during my time here, I told you like, oh, I'm applying for this position at Bungie.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I didn't get it. Thank God, because apparently it's like the worst company in America to work for. Hey, EA, you got beat out.
I mean, I'm sure EA is still probably really terrible.
You know, it's funny. EA was America's worst company. That was when I worked for them. I loved it. Like, our job was chill as fuck because we were certifications. So it's like, all we did, we played basically the finished games and made sure like the menus worked and then they were like, okay, now play it like a player, because you know the QA, right? The difference between QA and like something like cert testing, like I did, right? QA is very scripted. They're like, okay, we want to make sure you're running up against this wall,
Right, to really try things out.
Yeah, and like they're very formulaic, like, okay, you know, make sure. And this was part of Bungie's QA that just bugged the shit out of me for a long time, because I remember talking to one of their QA engineers a long time ago, Twitter or Reddit or something, and going like, how do you guys do your testing? Because like, he explained the process to me, and he's like, oh, our testers are all devs, so you know, they understand the code and they can help us make recommendations, and you know, so they're running things how they're supposed to be run. Like, so basically what you're telling me is you have a bunch of like junior devs testing your code, basically seeing, does this work how it's supposed to? And not like, can some, you know, dumbass like me who's gonna go in there and like jump and like rocket down, you know, almost kill myself, and that creates a weird like little scenario where I can phase through a brick or some shit, you know. Right. They're just saying like, oh, can I jump from this pillar to this pillar? Does, you know, and the Crota, like, does the bridge come up like when we stand on the thing? That's what they're doing. They're doing the, this is what we expect to happen. Does it happen? Yes. Okay, we're good. Right? Which is why Destiny has had so much weird shit, and people go, they don't QA. It's like they do, but they don't do like the random testing that like I did at EA so many years ago, which is what, like, a lot of those games in that era came out really clean, because we were actually a really great team for that stuff, right? For like, oh hey, we did some dumb shit, because we had some really like inventive people on the team. And they would just do dumb shit, and it would break the game, and it would end up being like, you know, something that we could reproduce and then tell them like, hey, this will break the game. And we just kind of were dicking around and found it, so someone was likely to find this, you know.
Right.
Because you know, there's like 40 of us versus the, you know, hopefully millions of people that'll play this game. But yeah, like with that, you know, it was just weird talking to a Bungie dev about that, going like, you guys don't like actually like try to real world test in any way, you know. But that's the thing, the stuff at Bungie, the way it's done and the way it's been done forever is just, it's archaic, and they have that old world attitude of like, well, you know, we got the dudes in power and they should be able to just do whatever they want. It's like 1955.
Well, then
you know?
there's also the whole thing about apparently there's still a lot of Microsoft left over in Bungie still. There's the Ackman had that little interview with that old Bungie guy.
Oh, with Marty O'Donnell, the guy who's running for Congress.
Yeah.
on the platform of I made the music for Halo.
Yep.
Yeah. That guy, I couldn't take that seriously, because he's had a beef for like a decade, you know. And really, like, I'm not saying he was totally wrong, but he absolutely acted unprofessionally, you know? Basically going like, well, your thing sucks, so I'm not going to do it. And it's like, you can go and try and compromise, dude. You know, you had a deal, you were purchased by a company. Like, they owned you at that point. Like, sorry, man. You know, they are the ones giving you money to make this game and stuff. And he's like, I'm just not going to do it the way they want. It's like, okay, like, I get that, but at a certain, like, you know, I might have done that when I was like 22, right?
Right.
But like, that man was like 45. Like, come on. Like, you got to grow up and learn how to compromise at some point. You know, it's like, and if you don't, then you're just kind of an asshole. Like, so yeah, and I mean, he's probably right. There was probably some of that Microsoft DNA left over, right? Pete Parsons was Microsoft before he was Bungie, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, like, we know Pete Parsons has not been well received lately. There you go, Talon. You got this. I'm watching. Oh no. Oh no. You got it. I believe.
My rock transformation coming to save the day. Dude, this is seriously like a get out of jail free card half the time. Even if I'm not dealing that much damage. Like, look at this. I'm just tanking all this shit.
I will say that is a very FromSoft coded enemy. It's very, looks like the guy in the farming spot.
And I feed him like that.
The beast cavern. The Yagwai chief. Oh, scary. But yeah, like Chris Barrett being being kind of outed like this. It's just the irony of the whole thing is pretty funny, but it's very uncool situation.
It's sad. It's funny. It's every emotion you can probably think of.
I just hope, like, really, this is why. I mean, we talked about this, like, I think last year, right, when we first found out, like, hey, Sony might just take over Bungie. I just said, like, let them, you know. At this point, let them, because Bungie's just.
I think they should.
Yeah, Bungie's like a fucking train wreck, and if Sony really wants any chance of that investment ever paying off, they really need to just take the reins and go, okay, Marathon, we're scrapping this shit. Everybody back on Destiny right now. We're making more expansions until we can get Destiny 3. You know, right now they should start planning Destiny 3. They should cancel Marathon, start planning Destiny 3. Get, like, the early concept art, right? All that stuff going immediately as fast as they can. Get the other members of the team back into Destiny. Get, you know, the episodes looking meatier. We need new stuff. You know, get the you know, get a new expansion. Whatever the Frontiers is, cool. Like, if we're getting new planets or whatever, cool. Make that like baller shit. Like, you can very, very easily get people back on Destiny if you make it good. It's wild to me that they're like, well, they're just kind of like aging out. It's like, do you know how many gamers are our age, Talon? Like 30, 35, 40?
A lot.
A lot. People our age are the ones playing Destiny. We're the ones with expendable income.
I mean, we talked about this because there was that comment they said about, or supposedly, again, within inner circles and everything, where they're like, hey, look, you know, younger generations aren't playing our games, so we need to change some stuff. And it's like, are they really going to change? Are they really going to hide stuff, though? They can make a free-to-play game. There might be one costume, and that's about it.
Yeah. Unless you're getting the licenses like Fortnite. Like, Fortnite's got the racket, man.
Yeah.
They got the, oh, you could play as, you know, Bender from Futurama or Goku. Like, or Spider-Man, you know? Like, it's that, what's it called? What was that stupid movie? Ready Player One. It's that Ready Player One metaverse thing, you know, where you have your avatar that's you. I can be Goku with a, you know, like a Spider-Man backpack and a, you know, a pickaxe that's like a unicorn, you know, like a fluffy pink unicorn or some dumb thing. And it's like that works. But, you know, if you want Destiny, like Destiny has gotten me to spend money on just like, oh, you did a really good exotic mission and there's a skin. I like that mission so much. I'm just going to give you $10 for that skin just to give you money for that mission. Like, I look at it as like a tip.
I want to jump back into that latest one they just made. I just don't have time right now. But like
it's good. It's solid.
Yeah.
I did it yesterday with my buddy. We always do like dungeons and exotic missions together, and we just ran through it. It's not that hard to solo. You could solo it pretty easily, Talon. So, you know, when you get there, but keep in mind, let them fix it first, because apparently there's an issue where you can go through the whole thing and then not get the.
That's if you haven't beaten the story stuff or something like that.
Yeah, so make sure you do that, and then that other thing is it can just get locked, like soft locked or something.
Oh damn!
The whole mission, like during the final boss phase. So it's like, ugh, that would be. I'm glad it didn't happen to us, because I would have just been like, okay, man, I'm hopping off. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing this again. It's not that it was that long. It just would have pissed me off too. But the gun is very good.
I heard the gun is extremely good for PvE. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the, what's it called? The wyvern shots. It's pretty cool. That you know, Destiny. I really think that Destiny, like they can make that into a $3 billion IP. And I know Lemon was like, oh, I don't know, man. No, they could do it.
They could. But
if they started putting out like an anime, if they put out an anime, got people hyped, and then we're like, by the way, Destiny 3 is coming out soon. You know,
the other biggest problem with it is just that they finally got into a good spot, and they're like, hey, we're gonna make 5 different incubation projects and take lead designers and coders off of the game. Like, what?
They basically stripped down Destiny that, you know, so many people love. Like, I loved it, you loved it, right? And we've talked about it. We could feel how different it was and how little investment was going into Destiny versus other stuff, right?
Right.
And this is again, that mismanagement that we talked about, and this is part of what's caused Bungie to have such a rough fucking time lately. It's like you got, all these incubation projects have either failed or they're looking like they might fail, like Marathon, and then they're going, yeah, we're not really doing anything with Destiny 2. Yeah, get fucked if you've been invested in this franchise for 10 years. Can you imagine if Blizzard, after just 10 years, like World of Warcraft, was like, you know what, fuck you, we're doing something different. Like, no, they didn't do that. They kept on it. And yeah, like they've had, quality dips and stuff, but every game's gonna have that, like, at some point, right? Especially like World of Warcraft's like 22 years old or some shit.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like that's a long time. You're gonna have quality dips, and Destiny has had quality dips over the years, but especially in the last few years, like where it just feels like they're coasting with like seasons. The DLCs, it feels like, okay, like Lightfall was like stupid because they just basically, that was a cash grab. Like, let's be real. But what was the other one? Final Shape and Witch Queen were great.
Oh, I loved Witch Queen. Absolutely loved Witch Queen.
I think Final Shape is the best DLC they've ever done. Really, as just a big expansion, it is the best one they've ever done. But right after that, they go right back into like, oh, hey, we're doing episodes. They're new and they're much more developed than seasons, and it's just a season that's longer and has 2 weeks downtime in between every beat instead of it just goes week to week till it's over. Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
You make people not care because basically you're splitting the season. The episodes have 3 acts, but you're just splitting the season into 3 parts, and then in between each part, there's like a 2 to 3 week break. So you're just stretching it out further than it was, and like it doesn't feel like it's taking longer and being developed more, right? But this is just one of those things that Bungie needs to figure out. Get that leadership like Barrett, and Luke said the Mark Noseworthy. Their value, in my opinion, they were overvalued, in my opinion.
They're
I don't
gone
know what
now.
those guys.
No.
Yeah, they're gone. They took the payout and just left. But yeah, if you've got those toxic. Those toxic people in leadership positions, like, get them out. Like, Sony, go through and go like, hey, like, this is what I would do if I'm Sony, right? I'm going to and going, we're having a town hall, no management, just boots on the ground devs. That's it. We're having a town hall. Okay, we're gonna sit in there. Is there anyone in here that more than like 3 people think is problematic, and if so, explain how?
Yeah.
If it's like 2 people think this one guy is a dick, like someone's an asshole, whatever, like that's one thing. If like 8-10 people come forward and like, yeah, this person's like harasses us, then go, okay, they're gone, cool, next, who's next? Let us know. We want these people out, and we're gonna get you people who work through. But that's one of those things, man. Sometimes talented people are assholes, right? I said that before. Like R. Kelly, like as a musician, I go, yeah, R. Kelly's a really good songwriter. He's kind of a trash human, like horrible person. But he's a good musician. Like, I can't take that away from him. And it's like that's the unfortunate reality is sometimes that happens. And you get people like Chris Barrett, like who's a very talented director, has good ideas for making stuff for Destiny. So much so that some of his stuff is my favorite stuff in the franchise. But yeah, like kind of a dick. So get him out of there. Alan, I'm enthralled by this battle.
I know. I don't know. I don't know if it's the performance mode or what, but I feel like I should be dodging certain moves, and it's just like, nope, you're gonna get smacked.
Well, remember, because it's frame gen, you're getting
PlayStation
extra
5,
frames.
This is on PC. PlayStation 5.
Still frame gen. That's what performance mode in this game does.
Terrible performance. But I cannot do 30 FPS.
That's fair. I've heard people say like, oh yeah, if you get it to 30, it becomes more responsive. That's the downside of frame gen. That's how it works at First Descendant, because that game's very loose in how its combat works. Something like this is rough. But yeah, I'm with you. I would still be on performance either way. That is a Buddha. My yellow brow Buddha. I swear, with that beard, he looks like Zach Galifianakis.
Oh, but now he's gone golden. Lovely.
Tell me about his wolf pack. That's a Super Saiyan Buddha form, Talon.
It literally is. The dude's golden. I can't hurt him.
You're done. Come
on.
Dun.
It's
That's
got
the most Dragon Ball you ever hear me talk, chat. By the way, that's only because this game draws so much from Dragon Ball.
No game of Dragon Ball.
Yes. They all circle around, Talon. This draws from Dragon Ball draws from this. It's like an Ouroboros, you know? Oh, I noticed. Did we get 2 factors already?
Oh, we did.
That's great.
Well, they're being checked right now, apparently. They're in the middle of, I guess.
Hey,
confirming
that's
it.
cool. That's cool. That's awesome. Thank you if you are one of the people who did Factor. We appreciate you because that helps Talon afford Japan.
Ow. Stop it.
How are you even supposed to dodge that?
I don't know. That's the thing. I'm thinking, like, how the heck are you supposed to, like I can dodge most other things, especially if I'm not.
Maybe your rock doesn't connect electricity?
It could, I could actually try that. I'm not trying to waste the rock transformation just yet.
I feel yeah, it's probably good for the end to kind of burst them down, right?
Well, especially because most of these bosses, so like if you get them down to 50%, then they got some big move that comes in halfway through, right? And I don't want to deal with that, right? That's where the rock comes in. Nope, now he's doing this again.
That's so funny. Like, it's where the rock comes in. I just imagine the wrestler.
Raw.
Rock the Dwayne Johnson. I got Lethal on a sacred mission. They're giving away a Zelda Echoes of Wisdom pin at PAX. And I was like, dude, please. Please. Please get that for me.
Oh, great. He's gone gold again.
Final Fantasy ass Buster Sword shit right there.
You know what it is? I'm probably missing whatever levels item is here, and I could probably get rid of his golden form or something like that. Just like with chapter 2.
That might be it. Yeah.
Because chapter 2 and chapter 1 both have this thing where if you go out and you fight a secret boss, you'll get
something to help you with the boss.
Yeah, the end of the chapter boss.
Yeah. Could be. Maybe you could turn around. I don't know. Well, that's like what's it called? Elden Ring had that too, right? You get like a Margit's Shackle, right? Time to the ground, get some free hits, or the blasphemous, what's his name? Blasphemous Blade guy, forget his name. But yeah, Malekith, you had something that could like remove his thing, or versus the Moog at the end, thing to remove his blood curse.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, all those things.
Yep. Okay, here's his big move. Here's his big move. Rock coming in handy, folks.
The Rock says,
shit, Buddha. That's what the Rock is saying.
Ooh, Chinese Tesla rival launches $22,000 EV with self-driving features.
Why did he turn back to normal?
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh great, and I don't have anything left in my gorge to heal me.
I believe in you, Talon.
I don't believe in me.
Okay, that's cool that he'll drink from his flask and be like, oh, it's empty. Shit.
I don't. Oh God. It's hard. This is gonna take me a while. I'll probably do it off. I'll probably fight him off stream.
No worries.
We've been live for almost 4 hours. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy is. That's gonna be a hard fight. I'm gonna have to. The thing is, I can't go back to. There's no shrine to like make some potions or anything, or get some other stuff that could help me. So I'm gonna have to think of some stuff.
You want to hear something wild?
What?
We stream longer than Toon.
But Toon streams more often because he has to stream all his summons and everything.
Yeah, that's true. But he usually does like 3-4 hours.
Usually he does.
I guess. Yeah, it's about this.
So. Well, I think with that, guys, I think we're gonna call it there for the stream. We had some good conversations and everything. Got a lot of good recordings. Chat with you guys in the chat. A lot of big topics that we talked about. So let us know your thoughts down below, though. As always, just your thoughts and what games are you most excited to try out and everything. Just be looking forward to trying out. And if you want to support the channel even more, obviously hit that subscribe button, hit the follow button, like the video and all that. And if you really want to support us, shout out to our sponsor, Factor 75. Click the link in the description below, and you can go ahead and sign up for 50% off your first month's ability to use Factor and 20% for the next following month. So, and you can cancel anytime. You can even pause, which is really nice. So they got some pretty good food. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Anyway, though, I've been Talon What's Rick Gaming. Thank you so much for joining us today. And of course, shout out to little Bobby here being with us as always. Until next time, everyone, we'll see you all in the next one. Johnny.